In Game 2 action from the NBA last night, the Suns and the Timberwolves went out, and the Wolves took it down, 105-93. It was a Jaden McDaniels show with 25 points. Milwaukee fell to the Pacers. The Pacers are the first roadie to win a playoff game, 125-108. Then the Mavs did it. They took down the Clippers 96-93. Jerry and Steven spoke defensive about Dak.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. There's a whole bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio's Sports Star. That's RJ Ochoa. Look real close. Take one good hard look at him. You'll see him comfortably ensconced. Hey, I'm Rob Thompson. I'm glad you're with us because Easy-E has got it all under control. We got 4 hours of extensive and in-depth sports talk radio that we will encapsulate in about one segment an hour. The other stuff we know, who knows? RJ, I'm glad you're back. Hope the roadie went well and all things are copacetic and good in the Ochoa world.
Everything is fantastic.
You were greatly missed, by the way.
Wonderful and a plum. It feels like I'm eating cotton candy every moment of life.
Well, there was concern in your absence, and I'd rested everybody assured that everybody was fine and dandy. You were in the prepping a monumental and extensive draft day, of which you can catch live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. The boys are going to be over at the Roo Pub, getting you ready. Go join us all and prep for what will we expect might be a busy day in the NFL world. If there's the trades that are being talked about with all those quarterbacks and wide receivers out there, we'll talk about that. But yesterday was all about Jerry and Steven. The NFL world circulated around the Star, and we're going to get into a lot of different sound from these guys, and we've had some time to go through it and listen to it and hear it. Before we get there, just your first thoughts on what you heard yesterday. And
so I was driving at the time that this was happening, and we stopped quickly at Chick-fil-A, not an ad, but to use the restroom, whatever, get some food. And had a chance to check the old Twitter machine, and I had so much secondhand embarrassment for the things that these jokers were saying. I mean, legitimately,
buy into us.
Wanted to vomit, and I felt really bad for McCarthy.
You know what though? McCarthy was avoiding friendly fire. He only had like 3 questions. They didn't care a damn about him.
McCarthy had to sit up there and just watch these unqualified, yahoos just ramble on about this, that, and the other. So I mean, when I woke up yesterday, if somebody had asked me and said, like, dude, RJ, I know it's been a long off season, is there any way it could get worse? I would have said, no, there's no way. Like, we have found rock bottom. Like, this is the material that Fred and Barney are at the factory every day, like grinding out. You know what I'm saying? And somehow they found a way. I mean, yesterday, the scene, Rob, in Billy Madison, when he offers the kind of diatribe on business ethics and he equates it to the puppy who lost its way. And he's talking about all this, and he gives his answer, and he thinks he's killed it. And the judge is like, that is the dumbest, most incoherent thing. All of us are dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, whatever. That is exactly what this press conference.
You're losing all credibility with me there, sir.
Yeah, my only positive thing is kudos and flowers for a friend of the station, Jane Slater. She was the only person who held their feet to the fire, and great job by Jane, pressing them on their BS, because golly, there was a lot of it.
It's funny you bring that up, because Edwin and I were talking a pre-show just as I arrived, and he said, the only one that was really going after him was Jane. And I think she's mad at him because they told her they were going to sign a running back and didn't.
I think that's taking a little bit of credit away from her. I don't think that's what you're trying to do.
Oh
I
no,
think
no, not
she's-
at all. I
No,
think that she's kind of
just-
like, all right, I suffered directly because of your inactivity.
Well,
Let's
I'm not saying
get
that
down
that's
to it.
not a thing, but I think she's naturally that curious, right? And she's naturally that good at her job. And man, good for her. It like, it's one thing to say, how come this hasn't been done, right? But that offers, we're trying and we're working. But to
Oh
say,
no,
like,
we
well,
know
how
we've
come-
worked with these cats. We know it. They're
Yeah.
slippery, man. To get them in your grasp is hard. They
and
just
good
won't
for
let it
her,
happen.
man.
Yeah.
Good. But goodness, Rob, I mean, this was a masterclass in incompetence. I mean,
Well,
like I would have a difficult time power ranking the incompetent things that were said
Well,
on Tuesday. by
what
the
was
Cowboys
said
defense.
was extensive for sure. A lot of it was spinning around and chasing tails. It did appear that they were coming out of the basement and had no idea of the situation above ground. I don't know what they expected yesterday, but they got a full dose of it. And you guys will hear everything from all in to what's going on with Dak. And blame me. You got a problem? Blame me. I'm the decider. We will continue there. Playoffs.
Oh my God.
I told Edwin today, and I want all of our listeners for the rest of the day to follow suit. So many of our doctors want us to stay hydrated, so you can use water, or as the day goes on, you can choose your drink of choice, whatever that might be.
Okay.
Coffee early, but
Just
every
see where this
time
goes.
you hear, as sports talk radio listeners and watchers, someone say, "Well, the playoffs don't start till a road team wins," you got to take a shot. Because you're going to hear it. I told Edwin this morning, I think I heard it 5 times on the way in. I'm going to say it over and over. But the playoffs don't start till a road team wins. So we're going to talk a lot about the two roadies. The Mavs going into L.A. and dispatching the Clips was a spectacular basketball game. Not a lot of points, but a lot of daggers were thrown, and Luka walked away supreme. For those who are listening now that stayed up to watch, yeah, I'm with you. This is going to be a long day, but man, it was worth it. You enjoy it?
I had a lot going on TV wise yesterday, and so it wasn't just like having one of these things on and being able to somewhat drift. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's work this time of year.
It is work.
It's legitimate work. I'm toggling through, Fubo to Max to ESPN. I got something on the iPad, because there's the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. The draft happens to be this week. So it's just, nobody can cut me any kind of slack as far as, pausing for something. And last night, 2 nights ago was just like nirvana for the NBA. But last night was a little bit of water stabilizing. And to your point, like, okay, now we're here. You know what I mean? We got the first double bang. By the way, again.
Oh, you're not going to say it so guys can take a shot of coffee?
I'm not going to say it.
Oh, come on. Give the guys a drink. They're thirsty.
We got the first double bang. Again, the bang thing over.
That we got to clarify.
Mike Breen had the double bang on the.
We got the Mike Breen call. You're right.
Yeah,
we did have the double bang. You're right.
2 nights ago. So
That's right.
That was kind of our first, introduction into the official playoffs. And then last night getting the first road win, second road win, and man, last night was a bad day for my NBA opinions because I thought the Bucks would Dame nowhere to be found.
Oh no, he had a good first half again. Couldn't back it up, but no
that's
credit.
What I'm saying. Can't give him credit for that. And then the Mavs. Whoa.
I didn't. Well, that was Luka. We'll talk there. There's other stuff we're gonna get into as well.
Like what?
I mean, nothing fierce. I'm not trying to scare anybody. But it's all draft football stuff, and I'm excited, man. The amplitude is growing. I stumbled on the NFL Network yesterday. A show is like Caught in the Draft, and they were highlighting the 1994 draft, and they said that was the draft that went from old NFL to new NFL. Now, Tagliabue was the commissioner. And it was the draft where Kuiper and Irsay, or the general manager of the Colts, went back and forth. Had to deal with a Trev Alberts deal. It was a colossal failure by the Colts.
That was the like, who the hell is Mel Kiper?
That
and all
one.
this stuff.
And
yeah.
they said in that one, and this wasn't even an ESPN doc. This is an NFL Network doc. And they talked about the 94 draft was the pivot point, that when that happened, when an NFL GM lashed out at some TV pundit, that at that moment, the NFL coverage was born. And the coverage to the draft, think about where we're headed now. Detroit's going to shut down for 4 days. There are going to be 100,000 people standing out around South. We've been there. We've seen it. It is now not quite the Super Bowl, but I can tell you, I've already been on a radio row at a draft. That's an amazing thing to say in this day and age, and it's even bigger now since we've been. So
a take of mine that people generally disagree with is that I wouldn't want to be at the Masters on Sunday if somebody like Tiger Woods was in contention. And I've outlined the reasons for that in the past. Well, I've told you before because you.
Oh no, I get it. No, but you also have to be there once to be able to say just that.
Right. Well, I recognize that I can do that. But so similarly, because I was, we were there in 2018, I would offer that of all professional sporting events, like big, small, finals, playoffs, regular games, whatever, one of the worst to be at in person is the draft. I'm just, I don't know if you agree. It's maybe the sporting event that most requires a television, because you need all the information from different places that you just simply do not have if you're there in person. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it absolutely does. Because the draft up until 94 was exactly what most people perceive it to be. A bunch of paperwork and a bunch of the old football dudes, throwing out names where, they couldn't even understand back up until 94. Why the hell would anybody care to watch this? It's just.
But then it would have been legit because everybody would have been in the same room. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's just.
But it's just now a Broadway production with a little bit of fact thrown into the middle of it, which is what we want. I mean, entertain me for a couple of days. And here we sit. Haircut had his final. Lots of activity going on behind the draft as players and coaches try to pump things up and get ready for what's going to be. Do you think it's going to be trade ridden? Are you getting that sense? I'm not. I think it's going to go, except for a couple teams that are going to reach on quarterbacks.
Yeah, those are the pivot points.
Yeah.
Is the things that are going to come in trades on tomorrow are going to be, it's going to be JJ McCarthy. How badly somebody wants him.
Somebody's going to get fired for that one.
And then it's going to be the third wide receiver. So consensus is that Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rome Odunze are numbers 1 and 2, but Malik Neighbors is number 3. And so if you're, or maybe somebody values him too, whatever. But that third receiver, if somebody is just in love, he's if you view him to be the last of a tier, and somebody needs him, those are the two that have a chance for somebody to, or Brock Bowers, a tight end, maybe would be the only other person. But those are the big swings that we're going to see tomorrow night. I just don't know who's, it's strange because this is the kind of thing where, in hindsight, you say, oh, duh, we should have seen that. This team, had that big hole, that big need. And then, everybody.
Do you think we'll find? I hope so. I think that this is going to be an interesting draft because it's so prevalent in 3 positions. It's quarterback, wide receiver, and offensive lineman, it feels like, with some other, high-end stuff kind of peppered in. But that seems to be the draft, at least in the first round. So if you're not eager to get any of those 3, you either go down or up because that there's another gym at another position waiting on you.
I'm a believer that these decisions should be made based on tiers. So to your point, if you have, your first tier of offensive linemen is 5 dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you're getting somebody from the tier.
Exactly. I don't care what his name is. What can he do?
Exactly. There's a lot of dudes, a lot of O-linemen, which works out for the Cowboys. But, we'll see if they even, stick and pick at 24 if they trade back. Stick
and pick is what I'm known for. Coming back, we will stick and pick a 3. Reaction to the last night. Just stay up, wait, watch Luka get snipish. And man, oh man, the Pacers had some offense. Dame had it in the first, lost it again in the second. Go ahead and grab your coffee mug and act appropriately. The playoffs don't start until a road team wins. We'll talk about that next. And oh, by the way, Jerry and Steven are hiding in a bunker somewhere after yesterday, and deservedly so. We'll hear a lot from them. Hang around today. RJ's backed. celebrate with a shot because the playoffs began last night because a road team won. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
For the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
They say health is wealth, and I could not. Or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains. I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Okay, Kohl's has some epic deals right now that are perfect for early summer prep, and I need to talk about it. I just went and found my entire family tees under $8 and sandals under $30. Not to mention new patio essentials for 30% off, plus Iron Kohl's Cash. So don't wait. If you want great brands and great prices for a great summer, you gotta get to Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein Tools in-store and online today because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, get up. Get busy. It's the Morning Huddle. Get around us. We got something to do, and we're going to give you the proper marching orders. RJ's been prepping them all morning. I'm Rob. Lead follower, get out of the way. That was my squadron's motto when I went through basic training. The O first. I'm sure it still is. Just, throwing out those bona fides. You've said it, and it's going to pare down. The NBA is a fire hose every night, starting at 6. And then you pepper in the cool stuff, the highlights from the NHL that are good or bad. RJ's got me watching.
We had our first road wins last night, by the way. And you know what they say?
Grab your cups.
No, the playoffs don't start till the first road. That was true in the NHL as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I was telling everybody, does that count? Yeah. Does that count with the NHL as well? Because it's a tried and true.
To the historical value of that, but it's nice that it all happened at the same time.
Yeah. You know okay. So because it did because the playoffs began last night because we had teams win on the road. Now, first, the one that didn't was Phoenix. We saw Grayson Allen limping off the court, and so did we see the Phoenix Suns limp off to the end of the season. They ain't going to come back. They might get a home. They might get a homer. They might get one. But I think we can color this series done. Phoenix.
This is a real bummer.
Yeah.
I really wanted them to be great and allowed that to cloud my vision here. I also underestimated Minnesota. Goodness, and I think underestimated Ant because holy crap. I mean, but and by the way, those T-Wolves uniforms rock. Like, I mean, everything about
I forget did they have the Wolves one on? Is that the one they had on?
Yeah, they had the Wolves on with the lime green. Like it's a perfect look. It's amazing. Like name a big three that's been assembled. You know, if we look at like an inflection point in the NBA, like in 2008 when the Celtics went out and added KG and Ray Allen, right? We look at that as the genesis of the big three movement.
It is the best.
Name one that stinks.
Well, here's one.
Because this one does.
Yeah, this one. And there's been some attempts to put together a big three, and like Brooklyn did it for a minute, didn't they? With KD, Durant, and Harden? I mean, there was Durant, Kyrie, and
KD and Durant are the same. Kyrie, and Harden, I guess.
Yeah, they tried that. Philly kind of the same way. Yeah, there's been some attempts, but nothing has worked. And
For
you
some
can look at what
reason-
the Clippers are, and we'll get into that.
For some reason, Phoenix's attempt felt bigger, I guess.
Oh,
than
it was
that.
bigger, no doubt. They went and got the guy to go with the young buck to the guy, and then they added these 3 disparate pieces because, Beal was this lost cause in Washington that everybody'd
Right.
forgotten about. KD, the preeminent and forever tag chaser, and then Booker, the young buck, the guy who was, had begun this process in the draft, and they were going to bring in these 3, and it was a whopping amount of money. Then you got new ownership involved. Yeah, this is a colossal failure. Colossal. 2 coaches now have, now we're writing them off. It's entirely possible they come back, but judging by just the defense that the Timberwolves play, I just don't know how they're going to figure it out. And especially if Allen is on the shelf for even a game, you're out down 0-3. Pride might get you home, but I don't think it'll get you much more than that.
So something that I think added to this, and I think this is kind of how we evaluate sports sometimes, and I was checking. Do you remember when the Suns traded for Kevin Durant?
It's been a little over 2 years. It was right at the end of a year. They were trying to fit him in, trying to get it to work out, and they just didn't. They ran out of time, basically, if I recall.
It was last February when
Yeah.
it happened. And it was specifically February 9th. This is what I was checking.
Mhm.
And it was the day that the waste management began
Oh.
in Phoenix. And it was a couple of days before the Super Bowl in Phoenix.
That's right.
or
I was
Glendale.
there when that went down, and we were
Right,
waiting
and
for
s-
him to arrive.
And so I for some reason, maybe that's dumb. It amplifies what we think of it, I think.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I'm
guess
saying? Because
so,
it happened
yeah.
in the middle of this sports mecca. And
And
so
they were ready, man. They were ready.
right.
And he had been coming off an injury. Remember, he wasn't
Right,
well
right.
yet. So they were waiting for the return of Kevin Durant, and his health was ready. And by the time he got back, there's just wasn't enough time to get everybody. And this is a poor word choice,
So-
but inculcate everybody together. And it just fell apart. And they thought this year, you had Beal in, you got your point guard, you got your shooter, you got the cheat code that is. And it just never really worked.
So
Oh, here we go, DJ. We all got to, everybody got it. So today, if you're just joining us, every time you see or hear a series don't start till a road team wins, you got to drink because you're going to hear it a lot today. And by the way, it's true. The playoffs don't start till a road team wins, as we saw in Dallas. Kudos to Luka for taking down the Expendables last night.
Well, Luka deserves a lot of props, and this last night, quite frankly, is why we watch the playoffs. We watch to see
Playoffs?
these kind of games from Luka. Like that's the whole point. It's like do something amazing, do something individually that we all are like, man, I'm so happy I stayed up. Man, I'm so happy I was there. Whatever. And Luka did that. So kudos to him. This is now a series officially with the road.
Why?
But because we thought this would be the closest.
No,
series.
I
I thought Suns Timberwolves would be legit, and that was wrong.
No, you're right. Defense is ruling the day with the Timberwolves, and they look like the heir apparent to fight Denver. I mean, it looks like that is without question they're the top 2 teams.
I agree with that. And on the flip side of that spectrum, I have a question. So if we had to say who's the biggest challenger in the West to Denver, we agree it's the T-Wolves. But who was the worst team in the West in the playoffs?
In the playoffs?
Like who's worse than? Or actually, I'll take both sides. Who's worse than Phoenix right now? Like, who do you trust less than the Suns?
None. They are the worst.
Either side.
On either side?
I would have said Indiana.
No.
Before yesterday.
Yeah. No, it's the Pacers. They're the worst team in the playoffs.
I don't know, man. I mean,
what?
I'm not saying that like I feel great about Indiana, but
Indiana won, so it's kind of hard.
I know that's what I still don't feel like I'm still not worried about the Bucks. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I'm not, but Giannis better get back on the court and stop coaching.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We can very quickly, solve the Bucks. Right? Like, just get Giannis back, right? You can't do that with the Suns. You know what's coming? What hero's coming for them? Like there's not great. You get to go play 2 games in Phoenix, but
every story revolves around us or me, or as it should be for all of us.
Obviously.
How does this affect us? Do you think Phoenix might start looking like time to extricate some talent?
Who would you want if they were going to have a little bit of a sale? Who would you want?
Well, it would have to be one or the other. I think Beal is such damaged goods. Anybody can touch him, and he's getting paid way too much.
We just talked about how this was the worst assembled big three. I want nothing to do. I mean,
but Book,
I would take
I
Kevin
would
Durant
love
because
me
you're not
some.
gonna
I
not
would
take Kevin
trade a lot for Devin Booker, but I would know what I was getting. I was getting a guy who would be perfect to play a Josh. We're going. Pelicans don't suck. Zion sucks.
Wow.
I'd be getting a guy who is very happily riding shotgun.
In Booker, you're saying?
Yeah, a guy who doesn't really want to lead, has all the chops to do so, but probably needs a big dog to lead the way. And there's no shame in that. That's kind of the way a lot of people have gotten a massive amount of success is find the right dog and get behind him and go what you need to do. So I do think that it's worth one more run given what you've got, because you got a lot. But man, oh man, I would have my ear to the ground if I was the GM there, listening just in case somebody came with a godfather. Tonight or the Pacers, real quick. Pascal Siakam.
Well, you never bought
It's not the Pacers. It's Pascal Siakam last night. Worst team in the playoffs for Morview. I think this is a good poll question. Who's the worst team in the playoffs? This is his rank. Magic, Suns, Heat, and Cavs. No, Cavs? Get out of here.
I mean, the Cavs might be the most disappointing, but not the worst. I think we expected more.
Well, I mean, so far so good. They're taking care of the Magic.
I know, but that's not really representative of anything.
The arrows are facing different directions here, and I think the Cavs are kind of at this pivot point. They're either up or down. And down is bad news because they've tried it a couple times. Orlando, man, they're in class. They're auditing. They showed up. This is hey, we're just going to check things out for a couple games, kind of get used to the environment, learn the way, get the directions. This is all about getting better and incremental growth. So Magic, they're probably right next to the Suns. Talent-wise, they probably are the worst team in the playoffs. The Magic are. I think the Suns could beat the Magic. But the most disappointing team by far are the Suns. Is that a safer assumption than what we just said?
I think so. It's a tough season for them in every way, but they made this bed.
All right, let's get into it. Let's hear from the ownership of the ever evolving and unchanging Dallas Cowboys. You got a problem with the Dak contract? Well, it stops right here, wherever here is. Jerry and Steven spoke. We're talking about them next. Hold on. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, have you gone down to Niosa yet and had some of those anticuchos? Did you know you can make them yourself? The best way to do that is go start your meal with some great meat. Head over to Tri-County Meat Market and get some of the very best meat you're going to find anywhere in this great state. And put it on your grill, put it in your oven, put it on your stove, because a great meal always starts with great meat, and Tri-County's got it. They start at prime and they go up, man. Go see the difference in the meat, the marbling, the beauty, the cut, the thickness, everything that goes along with a great meal. Tri-County's got it. So if you're heading over and looking for the perfect steak, the cuts, they've got them all, and they've got them for you. If they don't got it, they'll go cut it for you. Looking for one of those big, pretty roasts, you need something tied off professionally. Of course, they're going to do that. You're looking for something a little exotic coming out of Louisiana way. They've got all that as well. That's why I love going to Tri-County Meat Market. You expect the greatness coming from the meat market. It's all the other things that go along with it that make it this curated shop that curated, food lovers like myself love going to. You don't have to have a menu. They'll supply everything you need with a little bit of inspiration. Looking for a brand new rub? They've got that. All the accoutrements to go along your grill, they've got it as well. That's Tri-County Meat Market. Specials every week. Get on their email list. First responders, 10% off. The 5 for $25. If you haven't gotten it once, well, you probably didn't go back to get another one, because that's what everybody did. 2 locations, Hebner Road, just a little bit to the east of I-10, or out on Ralph Fair Road, Pretty Drive, just outside of 1604. Head over to Tri-County Meat Market. A great meal starts with great meat coming from Tri-County. Go there today. I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, I'm excited. We're only a day away from the first round of the NFL draft. And what are the Cowboys going to do? I sincerely do not know.
More from Jerry and Steven from their press conference yesterday, and a former Cowboys coach, the current head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
What's he talking about here? He's talking about Asian.
It wasn't me that started that old crazy Asian war.
I mean, isn't that racist?
No, I think it was a crazy Asian war, was it not? It was indeed.
It wasn't Oriental.
What would make it Oriental?
If they fried it with bell pepper and pineapple and added sweet and sour sauce, that would make it Oriental.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey there, you and aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it. And at the same time, I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Texas weather this time of year means storms, wind, rain, and hail. You know, if you were hit with the recent storms and you think you have roof damage, don't make the situation worse by putting your faith in one of those out-of-town storm chasers. Work with a local roofing company with years of experience. Work with a company whose people live in our area and deal with the same weather we do. That's Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net. Buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment.
Chase Inc. helped me grow from one Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Huddle up. The Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. The Cowboys are on the clock. 36 hours, 19 minutes, and 43 seconds from this moment. The NFL draft will begin. The Cowboys will wait until pick number 24, we think. But that's where we sit today. He is RJ Ochoa. I am Rob Thompson. This is the Morning Huddle. Yesterday, Jerry and Steven stood before the throng of eager and accepting press types and explained themselves. It'd been a minute, really, since we'd heard from them.
Stop.
Well, it had been. It had been a minute. This is kind of a traditional thing, so they were forced to come out and speak. And let's just start with it. At least they got the temperature of the. Well, no, they didn't get the temperature of the room. They thought they did. Jerry came out and said, "Hey, man, on this old frustration thing, this is where we are."
I didn't just understand where we are with our cap at Senior Bowl. That's something we live with and know, like I would understand everything financially around here. And so I think our structure and our involvement at every level that we are in our process of getting personnel is ideal for making good decisions. I know what it's like to make a mistake because I'm going to be living with it 10 years from now.
Look over here to my right.
I'm not just in here for a 5-year session at GM and then gone. So I know what it's like to have to live with how you're doing. That bears on it.
Well, I'm a transitional strategist, which means that I.
That was such a big. But I'm surprised he didn't use synergy and interrupters and manifesting blessings and dominance. That was a bunch of gobbledygook. What?
Acting like the fact that he has complete and total job security is this like negative quality. Like, oh, trust me, like I'm the one who has to live with our, the results of or the consequences of our actions. So whatever. No, that means that you're the person who doesn't have to live with it because you're completely and totally safe from all of this. A normal general manager has to be elite at this or else they lose their job. Rob, I've watched a lot of Dallas Cowboys press conferences in my day. Okay. This was among the most, the most incompetent I've ever seen them. I mean, this was a masterclass in incompetence.
Okay. Well, I want you to stop right there. I have a question there. Do you believe it is, that old thing? What's the problem? Is it ignorance or apathy? And the response is, I don't know and I don't care. I mean, which is it or is it both?
I think that they don't need to care. I mean, what is, like he said.
So it's manufactured apathy. I don't care because I don't have to care.
Again, all of this is manufactured. I'm not a wrestling fan, but we're living in WWE right now. The presser started with him chiding people about the all in. He joked, "We're all in, and I'm not going to do a Jerry, impersonation, but he jokes, "We're all in with the draft."
Well, you have to do a Jerry impersonation.
What is all in and mine?
No, I'm not because it brings me no joy to
do
it.
Let's listen to it. This is Jerry saying all in yesterday.
The question is, in my mind, about all of this, how do we feel about where we've been in this free agency? We feel great about what we've been in free agency. All in. All in. All in. We're all in with these young guys coming up.
This is wild.
And we're all in with this draft. And we're all in with knowing that you have to go.
Did you hear the uncomfortable laugh coming from Steven?
No, but So I saw a tweet yesterday. I mentioned I was driving when the actual press conference was happening. So I saw a tweet from Sean Sharif, from Sean and RJ on The Fan there in Dallas. And he said this was the most defensive he had ever heard the Cowboys.
You know, Edwin pointed that out to me too. He's like, dude, did you get the sense that they were in a bunker? Like, oh,
right,
no.
So I listened to the whole thing last night, and they have absolutely no right to be defensive. When you're going to, like, this comment that we just played was at the very beginning. So if you're going to come out and you're going to laugh about the firestorm that you started, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have no right to be upset. Like, if people are upset, it's because you keep gaslighting them. And so, I mean, the idea that they have any right to be upset is ridiculous. And look, if anybody ever put any like legitimate stock into the all-in thing, then that's on them. But the idea that, you know, he can now joke about this and turn it into like a marketing campaign and a little fun, cute slogan of sorts is ridiculous. I mean, the other thing that was ridiculous. So right now, actually, this is not breaking news, but Adam Schefter just tweeted out that Mike McCarthy has hired Don Yee to represent him. Yee represents Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and Tom Brady, among other people. He's one of the bigger power players in the NFL from an agency standpoint.
So this broke the day after that terrible disaster of a presser that Mike changed representation the next day or that day.
I don't know if it literally happened.
Well, it was announced the day after.
But at one point in this press conference, okay, it wasn't so much a press conference about the draft as much as it was what we're doing here isn't the dumbest stuff of all time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at one point they were talking about evaluating offensive linemen, and Jerry said, man, I tell you what, this guy next to me, I'm so fortunate to have him. He's amazing. He's an amazing evaluator of offensive line talent. I know people think that McCarthy sucks because of this, that, and whatever. And I have my own personal issues with him, but there is a long track record there. Back in Green Bay, Mike McCarthy had a huge level of success in terms of turning what offensive lineman, this sixth-round guy, this day 3 guy, into legitimate starters. So Mike McCarthy, again, can back that up. So that being said, Jerry's over here. This is such an advantage to have this guy. Maybe give him a contract extension. Like if you find him to be so valuable, why are you putting him through the ringer on not having a long-term deal or any level of long-term security?
Okay, coming back, we want to get into, and first of all, you did already congratulate Jane Slater for representing the common man, for going, and this is a bunch of load of crap, but you need to defend yourself. So coming back, we're going to get into the back and forth of the day that was the presser. The Jane and Jerry question and answer period is pretty good to listen to. So coming back, we got that. Lots of NBA talk for sure as the playoffs continue tonight. Reaction to the brand new Texans uniforms, and they're growing on me. I will give them some credit. So hold on, there's lots to do, and it won't be any fun unless you're with us. It's a morning huddle done correctly. You're here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select
this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Kinetico water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Kinetico water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Kinetico water softener. Call the team at Kinetico at 656-PURE or online at KineticoSA.com. That's 656-PURE or KineticoSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
Hey there, you in aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,000 off select laundry appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. And with convenient shopping in-store and online, you can get new appliances with smart, intuitive features any way you want. Like a new LG wash combo all-in-one that can run a full load in under 2 hours. Right now, get $1,000 off select laundry appliances with Spring Black Friday savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,000 off select laundry appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. And with convenient shopping in-store and online, you can get new appliances with smart, intuitive features any way you want. Like a new LG wash combo all-in-one that can run a full load in under 2 hours. Right now, get $1,000 off select laundry appliances with Spring Black Friday savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. We're just one day away from the start of the NFL draft. I can't wait. What are the Cowboys going to do? Well, we'll hear from Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Mike McCarthy. That's coming up a little bit later. Plus, it's Wednesdays with Wade. The head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas will join us at 4:35. Hey, Rob. Hey, RJ. What if the Cowboys go wide receiver, running back, 1-2?
That's Joe Reinagel. He'll be in the seat of which I occupy today at 2:00. Tomorrow, he will not come to work. He will go to the Rue Pub and get paid for it. Not work, but he'll be there 2 to 6. They're live at the Rue Pub for a regular stop by. Go enjoy a fine meal, the big screen TVs, and the camaraderie that is the Rue Pub there at 281 and Redland. Go have some fun with them. I plan on. I'm gonna hang around with them this afternoon. I might join them on air, but I got to move some office stuff, so I'm gonna be. I'll bring my tool belt, RJ. Drill. Hey, how's the progress on the swing? Any movement?
Actually, it's was out of town quickly yesterday, so haven't had a chance. Though I tell you what, the boxes are very heavy, so they will get done at a certain point in time. Just hasn't happened quite.
You know what? In the interest of fair play, I committed a radio sim. I teased something that I cannot deliver.
Oh, geez.
Not currently. And I want to stay on time. I want to keep the trains running correctly. So we're going to throw an audible. We are going to talk a lot about Jane Slater and what she had to say, but we want to make sure there's plenty of room for what's coming. And what's coming is a discussion in the NBA with our current San Antonio Spurs roster. There's lots of talk coming out of Atlanta. DeJounte appears to be imminently available, as does Trae Young. At the same time, we're hearing the Lakers, who probably imminent to lose this series quicker than longer to the Denver Nuggets, are in the market to swing big yet one more time, and that affects what the Spurs are chasing. Who do you want? What do you like? What are you seeing in the NBA as it's getting serious about what the Spurs need to do? Playoffs continue, and the Spurs perspective, silver and black conversation coming your way. RJ Ochoa is back. Celebrate appropriately. I'm Rob Thompson. The Easy E is going to get a fine cup of coffee, something like that. Hey, everybody, don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to do, and it won't be any fun unless you're with us. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
We're in the studio right now with Jose Rios from the Gomez Law Firm. Jose, tell us a little about Gomez Law.
Number one priority is to let the people know that we are a law firm that's been part of this community for almost 50 years. You know, Mr. Gomez, he's been a practicing attorney here since 1973. He's born and raised here in San Antonio, done nothing but help out personal injury victims for almost half a century. It's very important that we get that out to the San Antonio community because a lot of these attorneys like to come in here and act like they're from here, but you know, they're all out of towners. They don't know what goes on here. They really don't know.
If you have been injured in an accident, injured at work, or hit by a company vehicle, don't take on the big insurance companies by yourself. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere. And remember, Gomez Law Fights.
If you have been injured in an accident, injured at work, or hit by a company vehicle, the first place you need to go is joegomezlaw.com.
Hey there, you and aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Jason Minix here from The Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs continued last night, and the series gets in the way of the Suns as the T-Wolves won Game 2, 105-93. Milwaukee lost. They lost their first one. The Pacers take 125-108 win behind Pascal Siakam's 37. And, by the way, the Mavs took down the Clips on the road, 93. Luka leading the way.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, huddle up. We got a lot to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Check them out real close. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Together, we are the Morning Huddle, driven and captained by Eazy-E Edwin Hafner on the other side of the double pane. This hour, lots of Cowboys talk as Jerry and Steve spoke yesterday. McCarthy did too for a brief shining moment. By the way, McCarthy's got new representation. All will play into lots of conversation today. But first and foremost, as the NBA playoffs continue, the Spurs are mustering their efforts toward the draft, waiting for the lottery to see if they've got 2 first-rounders, or we'll have, 3 next year, 4, depending on what the Bulls do. And as we sit, lots of conversation as to the teams that are recently or about to be exited, where their best players are going to go and who's going to hang around. The Hawks have been in the NBA sights for several reasons for the last couple of weeks, as Trae Young seems to be playing out his string there. DeJounte Murray hasn't been a success either. I read an article where the Spurs might be more interested in DeJounte than Trae Young. What do you make of that, RJ?
I make that they probably want to pay less and he's going to cost less. So Plus, they know him. There is always, there's always something a little bit more to, hey, we've been there, we've done that, we know this guy. Look, and the idea that DeJounte would be a poor decision or anything like that, I think is ridiculous. There's merit to it. I know we talked about it a few months ago. And so if you don't want to do Trae Young, fine, but at some point you have to do the big thing. You know what I mean? If you don't want to do the big thing yet, okay, so be it. But we're only going to give you so many not big things, and this could be one of them. He helps, and there's no question about that. So it's ultimately a good thing.
Okay, I'm going to give you a list of guys. And this is courtesy of Pounding the Rock. Players that you'd most like to see the Spurs pursue via trade this summer. Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Mikal Bridges. Now, that's just 4 of the guys. And we'll, let's throw DeJounte in there as well. 5 guys.
Okay.
Which would you?
Is the question which one I prefer?
Oh, well, would you? Is there anything? Is there anything there that is worth the effort that would be required? Because a trade's going to involve picks and talent, and there's some guys here that, man, I'll let you know what I think.
I think if I had to power rank them, it'd be Trae Young, and then Donovan Mitchell, and then I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like at that point, you've really lost me. At that point, it's it's okay. You know what I mean? But I understand that Trae Young is a bit of a divisive subject right now. That there's a lot of people who don't want to go down that road at all. And hear me out. If you're anti Trae Young, I'm not. I'm obviously pro Trae Young, but I'm pro doing something. You know what I mean? Like Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell represent doing something seriously, taking a serious swing at things. Any of the other options you mentioned don't. I mean, they're interesting and they're legitimate things, but they're not something serious. I want to see something serious done here, and that means Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell. Now, I don't want to do a serious thing just to do a serious thing, to be very clear here, which is the plight in general. But Trae Young is my number one option with Donovan Mitchell a very close second.
I'm of the mind, looking at what I see here, if I'm relegated to this list, it would be Donovan Mitchell for me first. A guy. Because we talked about this yesterday, and it comes down to when you look at what Wemby is, and you go, okay, who do I want, or what do I want to go get to pair with what the skill set that I now see we are going to utilize more than others. And I now see that we are further away from Wemby being a true 5 than we were at the beginning of next year. Wemby is going to be a fluid guy, grabbing rebounds, leading the fast break, finishing the fast break from the others. So that being said, there's 3 kind of guys you can pair with him. You can get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who has his own gravity, where Wemby can stand on one side of the court, Donovan can be on the other side of the court and go get his own. He doesn't need a pass. He can just have the ball and go get it. There's that kind of guy. Then there's the kind of guy who will live off of Wemby, who's going to find himself on the weak side that Wemby will find over the top, that's going to feast on threes and wide open court because double teams are going to leave him. There's that kind of guy who I would put the Trae Young there. He's going to be able to go and get wide open shots and be available all the time, and Trae would live and do very well. Or the third type would be some help down at post, a big guy to get behind him, to block shots on the second layer, to grab some of those defensive rebounds, and to help with the offensive rebounding kind of stuff. That's me looking at the 3 types. And when I look at that on this list, I like Donovan Mitchell because he can go get his own. He doesn't need any help. He's strong enough to dribble through double teams. He understands all those kind of things. He's gone through the wars. He's not my first choice, but of these choices, that's the guy I take. What would you guys take? 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Mikal Bridges doesn't quite suit that, and I'll say I don't like them on this list because the Spurs would never bring in Mikal Bridges, ever.
Something that we talked about on Monday was, has somebody, we use Trae Young as an example, has he lost enough to want to come be?
That was a great point, by the way.
Like has he experienced enough lows? Has he, LeBron in Cleveland walked off while Boston celebrated, to the point that he's done, right? Like he's ready to just put up with something else in order to achieve something else. I don't think that Trae Young has lost enough serious basketball games to have, it thrust upon him that he might need to go be Robin somewhere. but I do think Donovan Mitchell has. I think Donovan Mitchell has been through a lot more. And so, but he's also got the potential, I think, to be a bigger leader. And so you do have to struggle, and that's a good thing, but do you want him to be a leader? Do you want him to be the face of your franchise? Do you want, it's a delicate line to walk and balance between Wemby's the leader, Wemby's the face, but we need this guy. We need Scottie Pippen, whatever. I think Trae Young is inherently more Scottie Pippen, but I think he's also maybe less willing to be Scottie Pippen. So that's a weird dichotomy.
Woj, this isn't a Woj bomb, but I will say this. Woj has fluctuated in this offseason, which tells me because this draft is so weird that they're really, who was it? Jeff, the basketball guy with ESPN.
Jeff Goodman.
Yeah, it was Jeff Goodman. Essentially said, hey, man, this draft is going to get some GMs fired. It's so bad. There's just, but because it's so bad in most people's eyes, there's going to be a diamond or two that's going to pop up. But for the most part, it's awful. So there's that side of things. Free agency is now kind of weird. Listen to Woj talk about the free agency period that's imminent.
Listen, this is a team, I think, just like last summer, where the market was far more limited. It was Damian Lillard available. There was only so far they were going to go in a trade. He gets traded to Milwaukee. It's going to be a different summer in the NBA. I think there's going to be a lot of guys entering the NBA portal.
Right.
And I think there's going to be a lot more player movement this summer. Part of it is teams underachieving, but it's also part of the new salary cap. Payrolls have to change.
So Woj's talking about payroll going up, as the CBA will attest, and new TV rights deal is imminent. There is a shift in the market. We have had some failed attempts at improvement, like we've seen in Phoenix, and the Lakers are going to probably swing for the fences one last time. You can see teams like the Pacers that got active late. You got some imminent failures coming with some contracts available. So the portal, which I find the upward mobility of the collegiate prospects very interesting as the NBA portal will open up. So if the market is active, does that tell you the Spurs will be active?
All the fantastic local reporting has suggested no, right? Like all the word seems to be that, hey, if you're expecting one thing, you might want to adjust because we're probably not going to do this. And so, I just don't know how, unless this is some long con and they're going to really surprise us in the summer, I really don't expect that. I think that they believe that they're on the right track, and they might be, to be fair, but that they really believe that they don't have to take a big swing right now. And they might justify it by saying it's too early. We don't want to, we don't want to get in over our skis. We don't want to do something that we'll regret. So we want to take our time.
That's my expectation as well. I think that the plan is in place. I think even more so after the way that the season ended, that Wemby is leaving with a fresh breath. That last little Insta barrage where he was comparing his coach to Yoda, which if I'm Pop, I'm kind of like, dude, can we find a better mentor? Look, you're telling me I look like that guy?
What do you mean a better mentor?
Well, as far as better looking mentor is what I should have said. World. Maybe we could find a better looking mentor than Yoda.
Name it. Name the person.
I don't know. I'm just saying I'd rather be compared to maybe the mentor from Kung Fu. I'm just trying to figure an old dude. Like maybe Pat Morita. He's dead, but from Karate Kid. That's a good mentor.
No.
Yoda
was
you're gonna call me a 3-foot green dude with giant ears and wispy hair.
He is the most powerful.
He is. I'm not taking away, but can't we find another mentor to compare me to? Like you get to be the young, good-looking guy. I'm the old, the 300-year-old, soon-to-be dead, short green dude. That's who I am in this. If I'm Pop.
Wow.
Maybe Gandalf. See, we could have gone there.
Gandalf
at least is a big dude with a flowing beard and kind of badass. Not this little tiny dude that you carry around in a backpack.
Gandalf the Gray or Gandalf the White? You got to be specific.
Well, the Gray.
The Gray was the weaker one. Gandalf the White was the
Who was the Dumbledore? Who was Dumbledore? Dumbledore.
Dumbledore also
the first
not a mentor,
Dumbledore,
just a professor.
The first Dumbledore.
well, there. I mean, if you're talking about the actors, but I
Yes.
mean, there's one Dumbledore. Yoda was perfect. You're lowering in quality of mentor by going to Gandalf and to Dumbledore. Again, Gandalf is a great leader.
I beg
but
to differ.
He's not a mentor. As much as he
Gandalf
was the
is
leader of
as
the brigade.
equal to Yoda as Yoda was ever equal to Gandalf. Equal powers.
Gandalf lost. He died.
He
at one
with
point.
a
Yoda
purpose. It was part of the plan, as
You just have
did
no idea.
Yoda.
You belong nowhere in this conversation about
What?
Yoda and Gandalf and Dumbledore. Again,
I
equating
put it to
Dumbledore
you
Yoda is just
that Gandalf is as equal to Yoda as anything else.
no. That's just not
What?
true. I'm sorry. No. Yoda's the most powerful being in the galaxy. There's a ring that Gandalf can fall victim to because of its power.
Oh,
that's right.
Okay, Dumbledore.
Again, also he's not even a mentor. He kind of left Harry out to dry. Hey,
No.
11-year-old boy, solve all my problems.
He used what were the tools available to him. He orchestrated a
Pop, if you're listening, I am with Wemby that you are Yoda. Please
No,
don't
he's
let Rob
Dumbledore.
convince you anything else.
I'd rather be Dumbledore because better hair.
Wow.
And the gray was not as weak. It was weaker than the white. I guess he kind of was.
He was originally Gandalf the Gray, and then
Yeah.
he died, and he was like
Yeah, then-
reincarnated as
yeah.
Gandalf the White.
But I
He
never
was, like,
took him as
purified.
more powerful as
I mean,
than the white. And you know, as we said, I've been a part of a lot of nerdy conversations.
Wow.
In my day, and the comparison between Yoda, Gandalf, and Dumbledore.
This was your
It rivals where I've been, but never been such. Part of this other quiz for those that are draft geeks. I know that the Spurs have so many draft picks coming up. It could be 2 in the top 10 this year. Next year, we've got the Atlanta Hawks deal coming to fruition, and the Bulls deal could come in. So there could be 3 next year, or maybe even 4 next year if Toronto gets lucky and has a top 5 protected. But I'll be honest with you, I just don't see a lot in this draft. I really don't. And because I don't, you have to either go, do I trust the guys to go find the diamonds? Because it used to be a no-brainer. I used to love a draft like this because it really separated the smart GMs and those that are really kind of GMing for their job instead of GMing for the team, if you know what I mean. And Goldman, what's Jeff? I'm sorry.
Jeff Goodman.
Goodman said as much. Like, this is going to separate the good from the bad GMs.
Well, if the class is so bad.
See, bad is not the best word. There just is no separator. There's a lot of guys that can do the very same thing. So you got to find
the GM's fault.
No, it's not, but it's up to the GM to find that puzzle piece, because there's a bunch of dudes out there that can do a lot of the same things. And there's not a guy where you go, his ceiling is so absolutely high that I'm willing to sacrifice time and effort to get there. There's really not a bunch of those guys. We had a Dillingham on Eric Bishop. But Dillingham, when it came to the tournament, I used the tournament as a bit of a crucible. The guy just kind of fell apart. So I love the skill set. I love the idea of a guard for the Spurs, but he didn't separate himself. Neither did his running mate and Shepard. Guys I liked. So again, I think that because there's so much impetus as you better scout and you better find that right guy. And here's the problem. None of these guys are going to tell you they're the right guy immediately. I mean, it's going to take some time and put them in the oven, because you compare it to last year. Scoot last year.
Right.
The other proposed possible number 1, who, if he was coming out this year, Holland or Dillingham would easily be one of the best point guards coming. And I do believe he would be the number 1 pick overall. And this guy couldn't find his way on the court until until January, February. Some injuries and some other stuff, but they're so far away. So as a GM, you're looking at this going, well, I could lose my gig, but we're not even going to know for 3 years.
And I think that there's an understanding there as far as like getting GMs fired. But yeah, I think that the potential for volatility is much higher this year.
But but I will tell you this: the problem with waiting is I ain't down to tank no more.
I mean, who is?
You know what I mean? I want other teams to tank. I want their picks to matter because they're tanking. But why tank if your picks don't matter? You know. So there's the bird in the hand premise is you better get it now. And I'm starting to fall into this boat where you better get it now. And when Woj tells me, look, there's a lot of guys that want to move. I hear from the man himself, Wemby, saying, yeah, they're creeping my DMs. They're kind of down to get down here. So I'm hearing from him. So if the market is in flux and they want to come here, at the same time, we're competing against some other Western teams like the Lakers who are swinging for the fences. They got to win now. It's a very appropriate movement. This is Game of Thrones stuff because no matter what they do, no matter what the Spurs do this year in the offseason, they ain't going to be ready to compete with Minnesota and Denver. They ain't going to be ready. No matter what they do. So you got to play that into it as well. We need the improvement. We want to get better, but how much better can we get and still not worry about the imminent future? That is not, I mean, it would take a colossal collapse and injuries for the Spurs to become relevant in the West right now. It's still a knife fight, and it will continue to be so.
I mean, that's my problem with like looking at things in this grand sense is you have no idea when any of that's going to change, right? Like,
right.
I mean, we've always known that the West is going to be, a knife fight or whatever. But I mean, using myself as an example, I personally underestimated Minnesota these playoffs. And look, we're 2 games in. Like, I'm not trying to have a massive overreaction or anything like that. But like, what if Phoenix is back next year, right? Like
they probably will be.
What if New Orleans takes another step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if Houston takes another step, right? Like, we could very easily, add a lot of teams in the mix. And so this long game of like playing for, like, we've got to wait for the right time to get good. You just have no idea.
Exactly.
No
you can't
clue.
let that predicate your movements.
Yeah,
I agree.
And even then, you talked about how you're done tanking. Okay, what if you find yourself tanking and then like, oh, turns out next year's class kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but you have all those picks. You know what I mean? You have all those picks. There's so much that's out of your control here. And that's why it's so, I mean, it's so slow, unnecessarily slow, and potentially unwise to go at it that way. Like, you don't have to cook this in the crock pot. Just slap it in the frying pan, throw some butter, and let's roll. You know what I'm saying? We don't need it to be this exact recipe right now. We just need food on the plate.
Mike Bean's on our brigade bar, and we appreciate you sounding off. I want to hear more of it. This is a good one. If you can't call it or you can't text us at 656-3776, we do appreciate it. Get up on the brigade bar. Why can't they be as good as OKC? Mike, I agree. OKC, they're the second youngest team, and they're tired of excuses. I'm with you. But OKC is a year actually 2 years ahead of us in this process. Keep in mind, this has been a plotting process for them. And yes, I think the Spurs aspire to be exactly like Oklahoma City. So if they do, as a Spurs fan, you say you're tired of excuses. Well, if you're following the Oklahoma City model, we're still 2 years away. We're still in the process of building, and hopefully there's a Shai Gilgeous in there because they got their Wemby and Chet Holmgren. But what they found was a Shai Gilgeous amongst all these draft picks they'd accumulated from Durant and George and all the other moves that they made. They found a dude in Shai. They knew they got what they got with Chet. They knew that, but they had to find a dude in Shai. Spurs got to find a dude.
You've got to be willing to look, though. I mean, that's the problem.
Well, you get all these picks. One of them will turn out right.
Like, you don't need to just thumb your nose at anything and say, like, we're good. We don't have to explore this avenue of roster building. Imagine the Thunder without him. Imagine if the Thunder had just stuck to, like, let's just roll with our draft. Let's just keep drafting. Let's just keep building. Let's just ignore everything else. Like, what? You know what I mean? It's crazy to think about right now.
And I don't want to put into the minds that to the detriment, we don't want to stall our growth because other teams are good. We want to get good as fast as possible because you never know. Keep in mind, this is a playoff without Memphis because Ja Morant wasn't here all season. At the same thing. And the same thing with New Orleans. New Orleans is a sleeping giant. If they can put all these pieces together at some point, if they can get a healthy Zion and a healthy Brandon Ingram and an ongoing CJ and that bench, that's another team that, oh my goodness. Then you go at Houston. Oh my goodness, look at the talent at Houston. If they can wrangle all these guys together, remember, this is a roster that we saw win 11 straight, 12 straight games to close the season out. And then there's the rebirth of Dallas. We saw what Luka is capable of all the time. So the West is going to continue to be tough, and to predicate anything that the Spurs do going, well, we don't want to be too good too soon. You can't do that.
Even if like those teams don't take leaps, because other teams will fall. You have no idea what other movement you'll see. Like what if Devin Booker is done in Phoenix? And you know what I mean? What if Devin Booker joins up with whoever? You know what I mean? Like you just have no clue what's lurking around the corner. So sitting back and acting as if the status quo is going to remain and you're going to be better than it, I mean, is a little bit foolish.
It's just so unfortunate that of all the times for the Spurs to really find themselves in a situation to shop and get a couple of top 10 picks, they legitimately face the year after finding the biggest diamond in the history of diamond mines. They stumble into a for the lack of a bad analogy, a dry well. I mean, there's just not a lot there. And they have 2 picks to pick out of. So, it's a 2 to make 1 proposition. They managed to find something in that the Keldon at 30 and Luka sandwich there at whatever it was.
Then if you know it's a dry well, then look for water elsewhere. You know what I'm saying?
But see, the problem is everybody else knows that this is a tough one. So I think everybody's willing to listen.
Rob, then Brian Wright, I expect you to be good at your job.
You better be. Yes.
Like,
and that's
I'm sorry that it's hard. I'm sorry that it's not, just you can wake up and walk into it and just build an NBA championship team. But I'm sorry that you're going to have to work. I'm sorry that you're going to have to figure this out and think of some non-conventional ways to do this. But you know what? Everyone else is going to try. So you have to try as well. And guess what? You have the inside track on everyone else because they're all calling your dude number one. They want to play with him. So tell Wemby to pat you through and talk something, because you cannot just know that the well is going to be dry, like Rob just said, and walk up and be like, guys, you're never going to believe this. There's not a lot of water in here. We know. we know. So go find it somewhere else.
You sound like Jane Slater. Wait till you hear Jane Slater and Jerry go back at it. Yesterday, Jerry and Stevens came out of their cave and couldn't imagine the vitriol and anger that they were about to face. And Jane was the face of the everyday fan. Called out and put on notice. That's what we'll say. In a very defensive press conference, Jerry, Stephen, and a little bit of McCarthy spoke yesterday about the state of the franchise and the upcoming draft. You're going to hear it all coming up next. Wait till you hear the back and forth. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 941 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
We used to fight chickens in Oklahoma until they got
What?
busted up by the cops.
Grown people fighting chickens?
Yeah.
You don't fight the chickens yourself. You let the chickens fight each other.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to say, it's kind of off balance a little bit.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big, big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Easy Cater. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Need food for a meeting or a company event? Easy Cater has everything you need to make food for work, work. With easy online ordering and reordering. Save your favorite orders, make edits as needed, and click. We even help you with expenses by keeping your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is sit back and enjoy the food. From ordering to reporting, Easy Cater has everything to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Don't miss the best Spring Fest deals right now at Lowe's. Save big on Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil. Get 5 bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 35% off and save an extra $150 on every $1,500 you spend on select major appliances. Shop these can't-miss deals now. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows savings. Offer valid through 5/1. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii while supplies last. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. 94.1. You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Talk. Hey, don't forget, the Blitz gives away a $50 gift card every Thursday at 6 o'clock. It comes from Tri-County Meat Market, and you win it by showing off your meat, RJ. If you're standing over a grill preparing something nice, take a picture of it, upload that picture and a description of what you're cooking, how you're cooking, and let Jason and Joe judge that. And they'll give away a $50 gift card this Thursday. You can use it at Tri-County Meat Market to up your grilling game. Be there, be square. He's RJ, I'm Rob. We're
always
talking
like my meat big.
Yes, he does. We're talking Dallas Cowboys. First, before we hear from the back and forth with Jane, Stephen, and Jerry, did you get the sense that they misread the room walking in?
No. Because I think they properly read the room. I think that they think that the room is mad at them.
Uh-huh.
And that's a correct read. So I think that they're just so obtuse that they're gonna tell the room what they think, regardless of what the room cares or not. That makes sense. Like
Yes.
they know that the room is mad.
But I know better.
Yeah, they have no interest in reading actually what you care about. They're here to tell you why you're wrong.
Well, listen to this. You want to talk about why you're wrong? Here we go.
Jane Slater, NFL Network. Trust me, I get budgeting. I've been working on it over the years. But my job is to explain to fans, friends, and family who don't understand when you've got these 3 free agents, particularly Dak. We've seen in the past, I don't think us covering this team are surprised that a deal hasn't gotten done. And typically they don't get done until training camp. But why not work on those deals earlier so that you have the flexibility to go get those veterans that have led success in the last 2 postseasons?
Your problem is that
your problem.
Well, I'm answering your question, but you don't have many problems. I really, you're excellent. But the point is that you may be working on it and not moving anything but your eyebrows. Who in the world would think that we're not working on it? I work on it. It pops open at 2 a.m. sometimes. What your actually question is why don't you have something done and negotiated and put in the drawer? Well, we'd like to see some more leaves fall. We'd like to see some more action. It's called option. A lot of guys need to hand it off. First guy through the line. Another one will keep it another step, decide whether to pitch it or not. He'll decide whether to turn upfield with it. Then he's still got a pitch left. So it's called option quarterback. That's working the problem. I've spent my life being an option quarterback, and I can go right out to the damn sideline and still leave a pitch in me. So I can do that. And that's just a style that you have. And so you never know. You might give money to somebody that you shouldn't have given it to. You got 2 or 3 of those names around here for me. I've been reading about them all week. So I know they're out there. And I shouldn't have handed it off as quick. Should have gone on out and seen a few more. I see some more defense before I either pitched it or kept it. So to say that you're not working on it and going is not the right answer. What they differ with you is your style, because it's on your mind. It'd be madness not to know that.
That's Jerry in response. Now, first of all, Ben Bersenio on the Brigade Bar. Absolutely. Rarely do we play. We always attribute the question, but rarely do we actually play the question, just in the interest of brevity. But I wanted everybody to hear Jane Slater, who stepped out and did what all of us have been saying, what RJ has been saying since they walked off the field against Green Bay. Like, what the hell? And finally, Jane Slater stood up and said, what the hell? Now, in Jerry's defense, it's hard to argue with what he's saying. It does always take 2 to tango. Now, I agree he is taking a bigger step than he's taking credit for. He did, or taking credit for steps that he hadn't taken. But I do want to say, as we blow him up, it's not all him. That he has put himself in a situation where he has lost leverage. A series of mistakes have put him into a situation where in some cases, in a couple of cases, he can only be reactionary because of his poor decision-making in the past. And I think he's come to the realization over the last several weeks that, oh my God, I can't do anything. Everybody has hand over me, and they're going to keep me over the fire until I pay. And I'm digging my heels in. I'm not going to do it till I want to do it.
The only thing you said that I agree with and that is factual is that everyone has a hand over him right now.
Right.
That's true. But that became the case because of their decision making.
Of the series of mistakes that he made.
Right. But so, like, doubling down on this isn't going to fix it. You know,
right.
if they had foresight a year ago and said, let's get a CeeDee Lamb extension done now, because it's the moment that we can. We value him. He's a first-round pick. He's a core foundational member of our team. Let's pay. We know we're going to pay him. Let's do it now. Godfather offer. Boom. CD's done. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You do the same thing with Dak Prescott a year ago. You do the extension, whatever. The only person who I will give them like some credit or whatever on is Micah, because they literally could not have negotiated with him at this time a year ago. But they have made this bet. And Jane even followed up and asked,
Let's hear it.
Let's hear what
Let's
Jane
hear.
said.
This is Jane following up with Steven. This gets better.
And you don't worry about those numbers going up as a result of other teams paying some of these players at their positions.
I worry about you. If you're asking me, do I worry about things going up? Not worry, but I probably have as good a feel as anybody living on this earth what the cap is going to be 3 years from now and 4 years from now, 5 years from now. I really do. We've got exceptional insight into where the cap is going to be, more so than a lot of people.
Which begs its own question.
Jane, I can assure you, if we felt like we could get a number that was a good number, because unfortunately these, as we all know, representatives talk to each other. You don't think the representatives of Jefferson and CD and Chase aren't talking, and you don't think they got their eye on something really big? Please. I mean, they're not ready to come in here. Same thing with Micah and same thing with Dak. I mean, it's just, it's a little cat and mouse. Total respect for him.
Why not get ahead of that then, if you know what some of those big numbers might be?
Well, you don't know what those big numbers might be.
You just told me you
As I
did.
said, if you really, your gut feel was, if Jerry's gut feel was that was a good number, then you might.
I thought more than anybody on the planet, you guys had an idea about the salary cap.
You knew the answer. And one reason you're not doing it is you may not have the answer.
Oh yeah, we've heard enough.
The number he's saying they don't know is the number for the players, not the salary cap. Steven, bruh, it is quite literally your job to know this. It is quite literally your job to be able to forecast what the market. I guarantee you, we could ring up Howie Roseman right now, and he will tell us what the safety market will look like 5 years from now, because that dude is obsessed with this, and he is very, very, very good at this. And you know what, Steven? I'll give you a little bit of credit saying, yeah, well, you know what? And the condescension, by the way, to please. Okay, Steven, you want to please this whole thing out? You're right. Justin Jefferson's due a new deal. Jamar Chase is due a new deal, right? Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk, with the list, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe you want to get one done before them. If their agents are all talking, set the price. Be the first in line so that Justin Jefferson and all them, they have your number to beat. And again, if you really believed that that was going to be a thing, if that was going to be a contest and a situation that you were going to have to overcome, then you could have gotten CD done a year ago when you had way less competition going on. I mean, the idea, Rob, that they think this is one level of incompetence. But on top of that, the idea that they're bragging about this being their defense is just a different stratosphere of incompetence. I mean, it is astounding watching this happen and thinking and that they believe that they're spitting fire. Right? Like Steven finished that answer and was like, "You take that, Jane." All right, I answered your question. You don't know what I know. Boom, mic drop.
What if with all of this, they prefaced it like, all right, we understand we have made a series of mistakes, but to clean it up, we're going to have to make some decisions that are going to be awful. We understand.
That's not even true.
And that would, but if they had come to the realization, and by some measure, I do believe they have come to that realization, that no one will deal with them, that everybody's just going to wait. We're going to wait until the biggest deal is signed. Then we're going to call you. And then if you don't answer, we'll wait till the next one.
You want to know, because you're kind of asking that, like, how do they get us back? You want to know how you get us back? Is you say, all right, guys, you got us.
Right. If they came out and said, man, I don't know, it was a bad dream, but for 4 years we have made a series of errors.
We are in over our head. We failed. We're really bad at this. So what we're going to do is we're going to step aside. We're going to own this thing. We're going to benefit. We're going to print all the money, but we're going to hire in a competent football person who knows what they're doing, because we have proven to you time after time after time after time that we do not. That is how. there's no way that I trust this team in any way, shape, or form.
Well, beyond this, so we know what issues that the Cowboys have. And you keep questioning whether they know the problems that they have. Do you get it or not? Well, Stephen spoke to the real elephant in the room in his mind.
The elephant in the room is, was our playoff success. And we could win an off season like we did last year and get an A. Boy, you went and got Cooks, you went and got Gilmore, you signed some veteran players, and boy, you won the off season. But guess what? We didn't get it done in the playoffs. So until we do that, you could say, well, you signed 2 or 3 or made 2 or 3 trades or 2 or 3 free agents. Until we have the success in the playoffs, that's the biggest question that everybody, is going to ask. How are you going to get over that hurdle? And we feel like we can do it with this roster. I know Mike feels strongly about our team and what we can get done with it. I don't want to speak for Mike, but, that's the elephant in the room. And, we just feel strongly that because we have had success in the drafts, I think it's pretty well documented. If you have success in the drafts, and you want to keep those players. And so our priorities have been historically, because we've had success in the draft, is to then pay your own. And I know during free agency, because free agency, that's the focus. Then everybody wants to see activity during free agency.
Oh man, it was just a comedy of errors yesterday. I mean, just
who are the own that they are paying?
Yeah.
You know what, Rob? You know what the worst thing he said was, and I'm sorry, but you were touching on it. Like, pick one, spin the wheel for the dumbest possible thing. But the worst thing was, we could win the offseason like last year. You mean when you sent 2 day 3, and we gave you props, we gave you kudos. All right, we threw you a parade. You mean when you did the bare minimum, when you did what normal teams do in normal off seasons, that was you winning?
Hey, they were all in,
the
baby.
Off season. I mean, what a pathetic thing that they really viewed last year as like, guys, we're doing a lot around here. I mean, look at all this. It was like
what is all in, and mine might not be the same.
It was like a tribe on Survivor that knits together some palm fronds and is like, look at this massive shelter we've built, Rob. I mean, this thing's indestructible. All right, the storms of Fiji are not ready for this.
I can tell you this: we'll be rolling up our sleeves and going to work.
They're going to work, baby. But nobody will talk to us. No one will answer any of our calls. We're trying. They just won't answer our calls.
A just total disaster of a press conference.
Oh, it gets better. And we've got the sound to prove it. We'll continue talking Cowboys, but coming around the bend, the draft is so much more fun to watch when you get to know all the pertinence. If you were about to be drafted, what would your days be like? Would you bring the fam? Would you hang out at home? Would you do the draft party up in Detroit? Let's look at the behind the scenes. That is what has become one of the bigger events on the sporting calendar. The NFL draft. How would you handle it coming up? This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, I'm excited. We're only a day away from the first round of the NFL draft. And what are the Cowboys going to do? I sincerely do not know.
More from Jerry and Steven from their press conference yesterday, and a former Cowboys coach, the current head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, my name's Jay. For more than 50 years, went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joe, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-SEER AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. DACLA 000743458.
Okay, guys, we got to put our trays up for takeoff.
Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in the back. We could only get 3 seats together.
Daddy has my pillow.
We'll get it later. Can you not put your feet up, please?
Why aren't we going?
We must be in line for takeoff.
Like security?
Well, that was a different line.
I have to go.
We just sat down.
But I have to go.
The seatbelt sign's on.
Why aren't we moving?
Hey, no kicking.
We're just 15th in line for takeoff.
Son of a...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6580. That's 800-583-6580.
When you ask people here, what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler? For some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. You're on San Antonio Sports Star. That's RJ. I'm Rob. Would you go to the draft if you were prospected, not a number 1 top 5 pick, but let's say you're a first rounder? Would you load up, take the fam, go hang out in Detroit?
So the question is, if I was a draft,
if you didn't know where you were going to go, you're probably not a top 10, but you were projected as a first rounder. You'd been invited, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a first rounder.
So, but no, I would go if I knew that I was going to go in the first round.
Well, see,
I wouldn't want to be the person waiting in that awkward, uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, so you wouldn't risk the fact that you might be the one guy sitting at the table.
No, but if I knew I was like a top 10 pick, I would 100%. Like if I was Romo Dunze, I'd go. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's no doubt about that. I would take my wife and son, and I would take my parents, and that would kind of be it. I think and my like agent. You know what I mean? And maybe my college coach. Like the coach that meant the most to me.
Right.
That'd be my crew. What about you?
Well, I'd go. Back in another life, I worked for EA Sports, and I went and did a behind the scenes thing for I don't remember the year. It was the year that Sanchez came out of USC, Stafford
09.
out of Georgia. Was that 09, 08?
Yeah.
Way back
That
when.
was 09. Stafford went number 1 overall.
And I was there with EA kind of doing this behind the scenes thing with at that point NCAA football. And I was with the top picks, and it was those guys and a couple others. There was a running back from Utah that was highly touted that was going to be on the game. So I followed them around for about 24, 36 hours prior to the draft. They all this was back when the draft was only in New York. And I think the most astounding thing, and when I realized at that moment and they did too, the kids that were coming from all these different schools, and they were coming from big ones, USC and Georgia, the next level of everything, how everything just got ramped up from, if you were used to nice, this was extraordinary. If you got taken around town before in just a town car, now you were in a G-Wagon. I mean, the guys that were walking around from these schools just could not imagine the focus and just the sheer weight of what the NFL is. And I got a taste of that. And I thought, man, if you're ever in the draft, go. Because it is just this. Now there's press for time and what you're doing, but it is this introduction to what the media machine that is the NFL, and this is 15 years ago. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like now. It's got to be extraordinary.
I think it's maybe lost a teeny bit of luster. I don't mean to
really,
take the air out. Well, I sort of think of it like going to the movies. You know what I mean? Like in 2009. When big blockbusters coming out, it's like, man, I gotta be there. Like I gotta be there that weekend. Oh, but I'm going to the midnight release, right? Now it's like, I don't
know, man.
Now it's like, I'll. My point is, like, I guess, like now, because you can do so many things from home. If you were like a top 3, top 5 pick, you can have a big soiree on the hill. You know what I'm saying? And you can have this big old massive thing, and you can invite so many more people, and you can brand it. You know what I mean? Like you can do a lot more than going through a bit of a car wash. So
wow, the new mentality.
Well, the next day you're going to go to your new team anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like you're there I mean, there's pros and cons. That's all I'm saying. But I would probably still go.
All I could say is, in preparation, if you are going to go as a draftee, know you're going to have to put on a football cap, a baseball cap. You're going to have to put on the hat.
Right.
Know that photo is going to live forever. Don't be Lonnie. Prepare appropriately.
That's a good.
Don't be Alani and have a hat on that you're going to regret for the rest of your adult life. I think that goes for a lot of things. Lots more to do. We're glad you're here. Getting a little hungry. I'm going to listen to these fine sponsors. If you guys would just go to the GoFundMe, we'd be able to carry right through this break. 8 o'clock, we're talking Texas in a pretty new powder blue.
This is the Morning Huddle with Robin RJ.
Okay, get hurt, rise and shine.
Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,000 off select laundry appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. And with convenient shopping in-store and online, you can get new appliances with smart, intuitive features any way you want. Like a new LG wash combo all-in-one that can run a full load in under 2 hours. Right now, get $1,000 off select laundry appliances with Spring Black Friday savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
We all expect our home to protect everything we love. But we don't expect that water is the reason parts of our concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Foundation Support Specialists. They'll restore your concrete and give you peace of mind. Get your free inspection at FoundationSupportSpecialists.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big, big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
It was a busy night in the NBA as the playoffs continue. The Timberwolves are now up 2-0 as they beat the Suns 105-93. The Pacers even the series with Milwaukee on the road 125-108. Pascal Siakam with 37. The Mavs, led by Luka Doncic, also hit the road and beat the Clippers 96-93, evening that series 1-all. Kawhi Leonard played, though they did not win.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
As we watch the Dallas Cowboys splash around and begin to drown, let's talk some Houston Texans here on the Morning Huddle. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. We're glad you're with us here on a huddle up kind of hump day. We'll hear that a lot from Joe. The Blitz will get busy today at 2. Make sure you're dialed in and ready for such things. Tomorrow they'll be out at the Roop Hub for the draft. We're going to talk about it more in just a moment. But first, in the NFL, things that really matter, because it's better to look good than to play good. I mean, we all know that. I mean, that's the reason the Chargers are even reasonably pertinent. But the Texans just continue to improve. And while the The uniform wasn't awful. They just had mundane uniforms. The Texans, it was, it was them. Nothing to write home about. But
holy crap, Rob! We have some breaking news. I'm sorry, this trumps that.
Oh
Trumps that.
no!
Let's get a
Bigger than
3-note sting.
powder blue on a Texans uniform? I don't believe it.
Pete Thamel reporting right now. Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman back with a formal reinstatement of the trophy coming today. The decision comes amid what the Heisman Trust calls, quote, enormous changes in the college football landscape. Holy crap.
Reparations are due.
This is a big
He
deal.
didn't have it?
No.
Oh,
He had
so
to
that
give it
didn't
up.
count that year?
I mean, what a great day.
So now he gets to put it back in the USC Hall of Champions or whatever they call it. He's already making money, isn't Wendy's paying him for his Heisman? Is he in the Heisman house? Now that's really the question. Does he get to move into the Nissan Heisman house now?
Dude, he has to be back. Like this year's Heisman House commercials are going to rule. And put him on the cover of the college football game. Put him on the cover. He has to be on the cover.
Because he was a cheat code in the day. You should go back and find the games he was in.
Wow.
He was that good for those that recall and took him dynasty. This is the Morning Huddle. We're looking, despite the breaking news, that really I think most people go, he didn't have it? They took it?
What do you mean? I don't think anybody thinks that. I think everybody, that's one of the more like well-known things. I think everybody knows.
I think as time, this has been 20 years ago, nearly.
He won it, in 19 years ago?
19 years ago?
So, I mean,
I don't think anybody ever looked at him as lesser because he didn't have the trophy to carry
around.
around.
Looked at him and said, like, "Oh, that's not a Heisman winner. Reggie Bush never won the Heisman." Blah,
It's
blah.
so silly. It's one of those things that as Americans, you look back on things that we did in the past and you go, "Man, what? We outlawed alcohol? What? We took the Heisman away from Reggie Bush because they gave him money in this billion-dollar entity that they took it from him? They took all the wins from Michigan because those guys were signing autographs? Syracuse, they did what? They took wins away? They vacated wins? It's just silly. It's like something you'd read out of a fictional 1984 Orwell book. You go, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. So he won it. We saw pictures of it, and then they said he didn't. What?
Wow.
Well, the tides
I'm
change.
so happy. Who is not happy? Like, name the person who's not happy about this.
Who was the runner-up that year?
Vince Young.
Well, Vince
and Matt Leinart. And who was the Kansas State quarterback at the time?
Oh, that big kid that's now the head coach. That's still he's the hot property now, right?
I guess so.
Welcome back to the Morning Huddle. We teased it. Let's talk about it. The Houston Texans have shown us a bit of their new uniform, and while it's been kind of percolating around, we haven't had a chance to talk about it, and we care about such things. Not as much powder blue as I'd like. They continue to improve, though. I'm all in. The Texans continue to rate A's across the board. Best offseason in most sport teams I've seen from every facet in a long time. They haven't tripped over themselves once.
You're talking about the Texans?
Yeah. I mean, they just everything they do, man. They better go to Vegas.
The
Play your
only
numbers
that they've made, because I uniform reveals have stunk. I don't like the Jets uniforms. They're a bit of a interesting decision to say the least.
Yeah.
The Broncos uniforms are horrible. Oh my gosh, I feel really bad.
They're kind of hamstrung with color scheme, though.
What do you mean? That's a great color
That blue
scheme.
and
I don't
I
mean this.
don't
I don't mean this as an indictment against them because I think their uniforms rock, but they look like UTSA. Now, to be clear here, UTSA's uniforms are very good because they make sense for them.
That's good. I mean, they're kind of hamstrung by colors.
The
orange thing. I'm
scheme.
sorry, I can't get
Anyway.
past any shade of orange.
So the Texans leaks didn't look great. I don't love the H. The
You don't?
weird
Really?
little. No, but I like everything else, and I like involving the baby blue color to some degree.
I
So
want
if that's
more.
how it has to happen, so be it. But I love everything else. Dude, did you see they had this massive it looked like a Super Bowl party, going on with, I guess, members of the local media there, to unveil the new uniforms.
jealous.
Like, they rock, man. They know what they're doing. Good for them. Texas's team.
That's a team that understands what's important. Treat the press well. Unveil something and give us free drinks and fireworks. We're going to scatter shoot this topic because this segment because I don't want this to get past. There's a couple things floating around.
Okay.
Two real embarrassments that we have to highlight. Watching what's his name for the Yankees get thrown out the other day. I couldn't wait to talk to you about this.
Aaron Boone getting thrown out for a fan is
the getting thrown out, and of course, if you haven't been paying attention, Boone has had a history getting thrown out for a lot of reasons, and most of the time deserves it. Does it on purpose. But this was Tuesday? Oh, no, it was Monday. He's just standing by the dugout, and a fan in a quiet stadium screams something at the home plate ump. The ump turns and throws him out. And the justification was, he's the team manager, and he's not only responsible for the team, but for the actions of the fans.
That is so stupid. That's just trying to, reverse engineer a reason for getting upset or mad or whatever.
The only reason I bring it up is there's that side of the power of the ump or the ref. And then there's the other side because of gambling or whatever, the transparency that the NBA is trying to achieve because of the whole issue years ago with the Donahue. So they created this 2-minute report, which, I get the idea of it. But, after the 76ers lost the other night to the Knicks, and post-game, Nick Nurse is like, dude, I was trying to call a timeout. But apart from that, there were fouls here and there, and Embiid was, upset. Well, the NBA goes and does what they typically do and release the last 2-minute report and justify and validate everything that Nurse and Embiid said. That, yes, Maxey was fouled on the inbound, and yes, it was everything from the timeout. Yes, it appeared you were calling a timeout, even though in my mind that wasn't a timeout. But I guess the idea was it's the intent of the law. You were making a motion that should have been, but it means nothing. You can't reverse time. I get the transparency, but you just kind of add aggravation to just utter anger. I mean, I was already mad. Now you're making it worse by telling me I was right to be mad, but there's nothing we can do. I don't know what I make of what the NBA has done. I appreciate the idea, and I guess we just have to live with the fact that they're going to be transparent. And sometimes, it's like a parent. You're right, I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to stay wrong.
Oh, dude, again, we've all had that moment where your parents scolded you and you actually proved you're like, wait a minute, this truly wasn't my fault. This wasn't one of those it's not my fault, but it was really my fault. This was it truly wasn't my fault. And then for them to be like, I don't care, because I said
nothing,
and this was that. I mean, this was really wild. That this was allowed to happen. Honestly,
but it's a mere statement of the human condition. I mean, yes, mistakes were made. Lots of mistakes were made. But until you find that magic rewind button, what the hell do you want us to do? You want to play it over again? Well, that ain't going to happen. So what else is the fix?
The Nick Nurse thing, the Aaron Boone thing is haha, whatever. But imagine whatever.
You've got one ref who decides I am king and I will do whatever I damn well please. And baseball won't say or do anything. He's right. He's kind of the king. Well, and then you've got NBA coming out and go, he was wrong here. He was wrong there. They were wrong there. He was wrong there. But you know what? There's nothing we're going to do about it. But at least we're pointing it out. It's the dichotomy of where we are in one league to where we're going in the other, and how you need to regulate and kind of find a way to keep fairness and justness, which are two entirely different things, kind of on parallel tracks.
The Nick Nurse thing, I can't. So the Aaron Boone thing, we've seen a lot of examples of something similar to it. You know what I mean? Which is sad. But I've never seen anything like the Nick Nurse thing.
Well, listen, here's Nick Nurse. Listen to him.
The first thing is, obviously, they score We take a look at getting it in quick. We don't get it in quick.
No, because they were holding
I
on
called
to Maxi.
timeout.
Sorry.
Referee looked right at me.
No.
Ignored me.
No time.
Went into Tyrese. I called timeout again.
No.
Then the melee started, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, by the way, Nick, you're right.
the floor,
Everything
do
you just said
something
is
to make sure
true.
and get his
Sorry.
attention, but-
I get that his like hands didn't touch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, really, it was kind of a vague. It could have been a play. The way he was kind of like, it could have been like he was making a message to do something. So I kind of get it.
If I'm an NBA official, next time Nick Nurse even puts his hands in the air,
Well,
I'm blowing a timeout.
All right.
I'm like, dude, I have no idea. I have no idea what your intent is here. I just want to make sure that I'm giving you your timeout. Like, you know, that's the can of worms. That's what I'm saying. Like, if your hands are at all vertical together at the same time, you're getting a timeout, bro. Like, that's just the way it is. You can't live, you know, in that moment. I think, again, I think Philly was robbed, and that's okay. I'm not gonna lose any sleep about it. The Knicks were the better team anyway. Like the right result was achieved. But I understand the gripe. I understand it. Aaron Boone should sue somebody, man. Like, that was crazy. I don't know how that's allowed to happen and why Major League Baseball protects these people. It's ridiculous.
It bordered on professional wrestling. You're like, well, what? This isn't real, is it? This is real. You're really throwing him out. You're not going to backtrack. You're not going to go, oh, it wasn't you? Sorry. No, you're going to say, now you're going to blame it on the fan? That's wrestling. I've never heard or any kind of response to that. And the fact that no one went, now wait a minute, bro. No one went, no, reverse. Nobody in New York said, that was stupid. Go get it.
That's where some stuff in sports is really dumb. They're like, well, you know, it's an unchallengeable play. Like,
Yeah,
so
well,
what can we do? Like, you know what I mean? So how could you know what I'm saying? Like, we have the technology. How could nobody just be like, look, we made a mistake right here. You know, it's been an inning. You know what I mean? Let Aaron back in. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You know, we won't dock your pay or anything like that. You thought you heard something, you didn't. You're human. It happens. But he's good to go.
I think we need to find, I'm serious, somewhere we need to just agree on who is the wisest person out there. We need to just vote. And it doesn't have to be about sports, just the guy that we all look at and say, you know, this cat's seen and done enough. If he says it is probably right, and we have this guy available, and we call the wise man when we go, this just happened, what would be the wise thing to do? And you go, well, the obvious thing to do is call him and get him back in the game. No harm, no foul. Let's get him back. Somebody should have just said, let's stop this. I don't know what the wisest thing to do with the NBA in this last 2-minute report, because it is comforting to know that at least they're paying attention. But I'd rather not know they're paying attention and be able to bitch about the fact they should have fixed it than to know that they did make a mistake. They told me they made a mistake, but they're not going to be able to do anything about it. And so I don't know where I stand on the wise move here.
I don't think there is one. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like you talked a little bit while ago about Jerry and co. If they came out and been like, look, we're screwed.
Man, I don't know how we got here. This is awful.
Yeah. This is our fault. We made this bed. We are going to lie in it. You're going to have to be here with us, and we're sorry. So in a similar sense, if the NBA were to come out and be like, a mistake was made, the other team should have won, we can't change that result. We're sorry. Our bad. Good luck, Sixers.
With that in mind, Jerry did speak to the bed of which he has laid and made. We're going to talk about the prospects of his quarterback, where we stand there. And that's enough for the next segment, because this is as much gold as we've already had. We're chasing it. We're going to find some more golden gold about Dak Prescott and who's the decider and when things are going to get done. That's Jerry and Steven talking about their quarterback situation coming up next. He's RJ. I'm Rob. We huddle up every morning. We'll be right back here on San Antonio Sports Star. You know, one of the great things about living in San Antonio, South Texas, is you have access to water softeners, the likes of which you're not going to find other places. That's a Connecticut water softener made in the United States, designed with San Antonio and South Texas in mind. You know, the water coming out of our aquifer and up out of your well, boy, it makes some good sweet tea, I'm sure, and some fine light beer. I can attest to it. But I'll tell you what, there's some sediment in that water that lands in your pipes. It ends up on your skin and in your whites turning gray. You can feel it in your hair. It's there. You know it. You've seen it when you take the dishes out of your dishwasher and that white powder is there. That's what was in your water. Now, you want to get rid of that. No one wants to ingest that on the regular, and you certainly don't want it in your pipes, because then you end up with guys with rubber boots showing up at your house with gigantic bills. Take advantage of a Kinetico deal right now. The Kinetico would like to prove to you that they've got the best water softener for you, and to do that, they'll put one in your house for 90 days. You'll see what I'm talking about. When your whites stay white and your golden mane of hair stays that way, trust me, it's because your Kinetico's taking care of you. Call them today at 656-PURE. That's PURE. They will come to your home post-haste and put one in your house. And on that 91st day, you're going to be like us. You're going to be a Kinetico customer with the last water softener you're ever going to own. You're going to have a warranty that is airtight, my friends. You're not going to find anything like this in San Antonio. The Knip has been taking care of us for a long time. Let them take care of you. Call 656-PURE today. Go to KineticoSA.com for all the details. Sing it while you type it. Get a Kinetico today. I know you're going to thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, I'm excited. We're only a day away from the first round of the NFL draft. And what are the Cowboys going to do? I sincerely do not know.
More from Jerry and Steven from their press conference yesterday, and a former Cowboys coach, the current head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-785-9545. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-785-9545 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-785-9545 to see if you qualify. That's 800-785-9545.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. A T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Free! Who doesn't love free? With My Lowe's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Hey, it's Jim Rome, and it's great to be back in San Antonio. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, welcome back. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Check him out real close on your YouTube feed. He's RJ Ochoa, and he manages the editing of Blogging the Boys. And there's lots to edit today as the ownership crew sat in front of a forgiving, welcoming crowd of journalists yesterday in preparation for the draft. That is now just 34 hours, 35 minutes, and 53 seconds away from beginning, according to the countdown clock in front of me. And while the draft is front and center, and they better be good in the draft because they ain't got a lot of help coming via free agency, though they're comfortable with that, as we have already discussed. They do have some work to do regarding some current stars. Dak Prescott, front and center. I don't even know where to begin with this because I've already come to my conclusions, and I don't want them to cloud what we're going to hear. What should our fair listeners be listening for here that sets you off about why they haven't signed him, the ramifications of paying him market rate? I mean, what I don't even know where to begin because you dig and you get deeper. You take a step and you cause a landslide. And, it's kind of an untenable situation here. So I don't know how to begin with Jerry's response to no contract negotiations yet.
I think that the most frustrating thing we keep hearing is a bunch of nothing. And I recognize that sounds like nothing, but at one point in this gunk, Jerry effectively equated long-term extensions to scholarship players at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
And it was just such a analogous thing. That they will do anything they can. They will stretch any words possible. They will go to great lengths to justify not paying anyone. And they keep talking. They talk in circles, Rob. They say, well, we don't believe in free agency because we believe in drafting and paying our own. Okay, fine. That's really dumb, but let's live in the really dumb world. You drafted your own. Okay, part one done. Now time to pay your own. Why isn't that happening? If you're not going to spend the money in free agency so that you can pay your own who you drafted, why is that not going to happen? And then to not only not pay your own, but to not be forward thinking, to justify, to actually be proud of the fact, to say you want to see more things happen, more leaves fall in the market before paying, is literally saying, I want to see the price driven up so that I can pay even more than I'm already going to have to pay.
Well, they want Dak. That's a surefire answer.
We want Dak Prescott. So that's that. And there's no question that Mike's, not that he didn't have focus, but how he improved last year. And I give Mike a lot of the credit for it. That improvement demonstrated to me there's more as far as ultimately winning what we're trying to do here. So your question nails it for me. We want Dak, and we think that there's room for growth.
They want Dak, but he ain't as good as he's going to be, so I'm going to pay him for how good he is now and not what he's going to be, though Dak probably has other thoughts. regarding such situations.
So at one point in this press conference, Jerry had a quote that I can't believe that an NFL general manager said out loud. Obviously, the fact that he's an NFL general manager is its own thing. But nevertheless, he said, because of the cap situation, we're going to have to diminish talking about the talent around Dak. That's a fact. He bragged about how the Cowboys are going to have to equip Dak with less around him. I mean, they are so lazy and they have just no shame in lining this dude up to be their shield, in lining Dak up to take all of the arrows for them. And the worst part is the number of people who fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. The number of people who are too just blinded by their rage for Dak Prescott to recognize that you are the exact kind of pawn of a fan that Jerry Jones covets. You are the person who keeps the lights on in his palace because you are, oh, Dak sucks. Got to get rid of Dak. It's all Dak. And Dak has his flaws. But the idea that they just won't help him because of their own incompetence is so stupid. I mean, like, imagine if Brian Wright was like, dude, I know Wemby's great, but like, we can't help him. Are you serious? He's got to do it all on himself. I mean, why? Name me the team that is publicly saying we just can't help him out. He's going to have to do it all himself.
Listen close.
Then you get into the $64,000 question. And that is, with all of the risks that's involved and what have you, if you look around the league, the teams that have really made that big time commitment, we have in light of where we have committed in the past. We have that to add to whatever we do with him. And so it's a double whammy. We've got a lot still from seasons past that we have to add to that. And so all of that presents a challenge. This you wouldn't even have a response if we were in a different place relative to the cap. If you are a team that has a lot of cap room and then you have a quarterback for a little while that is well underneath in his rookie contract, San Francisco last year, us with Dak early after we had Romo, and boy, we had a lot of credit card use there on Romo. Well, Dak came along, so we didn't have to have it, and so we were able to absorb that money and still keep talent around him. So Dak has enjoyed in his career that we're proud of. Some
And
of
that's a crock. That is an outright lie. That is a lie that Dak has had any kind of roster help. No. Oh, Rob, the following quarterbacks are all paid more than Dak Prescott. Joe Burrow, whose team franchise tagged T. Higgins. Justin Herbert, whose granted team is going through a bit of a process, but has brought in different help for him in the past. Lamar Jackson, whose team signed Odell Beckham Jr. last year, if you're just looking for moves. Jalen Hurts, whose team traded for and then paid A.J. Brown and then paid Devontae Smith. Kyler Murray, whose team is now going to help him out, obviously by way of Marvin Harrison Jr., although they've kind of got one foot out the door there. Deshaun Watson, if you put stock into that. The Browns traded for Jerry Jeudy, gave him a brand new deal, traded for Amari Cooper. Kirk Cousins, who, granted, that's a new situation. Patrick Mahomes, whose team signed Hollywood Brown this offseason. Josh Allen, they're also kind of setting him up poorly. I mean, all these teams who have quarterbacks who they are helping. And the idea, here's the other thing for the just insane mob that eats up what Jerry Jones has to say and that is so anti-Dak Prescott. They have, even if you want to believe that they are so cash strapped and they're just so the mean salary cap and the grip, the death grip it has on the Joneses, and they're struggling, they're working 24/7 to get out of this whole hell that they've put themselves into. Even if you believe that, they did not capitalize on the debt freeness that Dak, to use Jerry's analogy, that Dak Prescott's rookie contract afforded them. And they made the decision, by the way, to charge their credit card in 2017, knowing they only had 3 more years of salary cap bliss on that 4th round rookie contract by making Tony Romo June 1st designation. They have not once ever been in a debt-free zone and said, I'm going to start paying my bills on time. I'm going to get ahead on my mortgage. I'm going to pay a little bit more on the car payment this month. No, they have been nothing but irresponsible and lazy with regards to the financial component of assembling an NFL roster. And they want you to do their dirty work and tell people how much their team sucks.
We sure do like him. I wish we could help him.
I can't believe
I
that
would
there are
decide
humans
to help him.
who are allowed to drive and operate motor vehicles that believe this crap. I mean,
I'm happy to pay him. I just wish I could help him. We love him, but I ain't going to help him.
It's so, I mean, again, the Dak thing aside, whether you're a fan of Dak or not, fine. I'm not going to fight with you on that. But the idea that they can't help the team is so stupid. I mean, it's actually not even dumb. It's dumber than dumb.
It is.
It flies in the face of logic. And again, if you want to move on from Dak, fine. But they will do this to the next one. Whoever it is that is not Dak Prescott in the future, they will put, because they did it to his predecessor.
Mm-hmm.
They did it to Tony Romo. And I love Tony Romo, but they had no problems giving him a market-setting extension after he went 8-8 3 years in a row. But this isn't about Dak and Romo. They will do this to the next guy, and they will expect you to carry their water over and over and over again and talk about the cap and how they're stuck and how the quarterback sucks because they don't want to face the music themselves.
We love him, but I hate what's about to happen to him. We're going to pay him, but it's not going to be pretty. Much like our show, we're going to carry on. It ain't going to be pretty. Are the playoffs pretty? I ask you this question as we head into the break. Two teams with serious questions. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Los Angeles Clippers sit in desperate straits. Who do you trust more, both health and performance-wise, Joel Embiid or Kawhi Leonard? We'll look at the NBA playoffs, where we sit, the games tonight, and what went down. Coming up around the bend. The league is in full force. We're talking about it next. This is 94.1, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you didn't wake up this morning in pain. I hope you didn't wake up this morning, take one step and go, oh, there it is again. I'll just live with it one more day. If that's you, stop. Life is too short. There's a fix out there. It's called Arasti. Arasti providers are highly trained medical professionals with one goal in mind, and that's to get you out of pain as fast as possible. And it's the way they do it that has separated them, that's brought them to the success that they've had, is hundreds of thousands of patients across our country would recommend Arasti to their friends and family because it works. It works for me. I've had lower back issues most of my adult life. I walked into an Arasti provider not knowing if there was a fix out there. I found out it wasn't my back, it was my hamstrings. They fixed that. My back pain went away. That will happen to a lot of people. Sometimes the pain manifests in places where the problem isn't. But you fix the problem and the pain goes away. And the only way you're going to find out what the problem is to go to an Arasti provider. They're going to give you a full evaluation. You're going to find out what it is, and they're going to fix it. They're going to fix it fast. On average, under 4 visits gets Arasti patients back in the game. What are you waiting on? You don't need a referral, so just write this number down. It's 1-800-404-6050. The website is Arasti.com. Go there. Great resource. There's a map there of all the local providers. I bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Listen close. There is no reason to live the way you're living. Do not let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call Arasti today. They're going to get you fixed, and when they do, I want you to thank me later.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Don't sweat a swing and miss thanks to insurance tokens from BetMGM. Add an MLB wager to your bet slip and activate your bet insurance token. If your bet with the token applied doesn't hit, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to a specified maximum amount. That's another chance to step up to the plate and bet on the action out there on the diamond. Go to your BetMGM account today to claim your bet insurance token and get your stake back in bonus bets if your MLB wager using the token doesn't win. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and official sports betting partner of MLB. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer is not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner can help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, when you buy one bottle, you can get one bottle free. A great deal to help you go a great deal farther. Find Chevron Techron and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any one of our 6,300 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Free! Who doesn't love free? With Milo's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowe's.com/Milo's Rewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from the Blitz, starting at 2 o'clock today. More draft preview talk, more reaction from what Jerry and Steven had to say yesterday. Plus, we'll talk with Wade Phillips, head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. He joined us at 4:35 for Wednesdays with Wade and all the NBA playoff reaction and a look ahead to tonight's game. Hey, Rob, are you a fan of bacon-wrapped hot dogs?
Nothing like a Cali dog. I am indeed a fan of bacon-wrapped hot dogs. That is RJ Ochoa. He is the partner, the other half of the Morning Huddle. I'm glad you're back today after a day off. Always a pleasure to catch up with your smiling face. What is the polo that you got on there? What is that?
This is a golf course. This is Black Wolf Run.
Is where?
Black Wolf Run.
Where's that?
It's in Wisconsin.
Would they allow me to play? Would they take my ilk?
I don't see why not.
Do I have to turn in a handicap? Is one of those things, or is it one of those where my clubs aren't nice enough? I'd have to get them cleaned, and my shoes aren't polished. One of those
think
fancy
that
places.
you
What's
probably need to have your best day on the course.
well, yeah. I mean, there's some of those courses where they're like, all right, we're going to have to see your clubs and ensure that you're of our ilk.
I wouldn't go that far, but my point, you can't show up, 3 Pomolas. What was your drink of the summer? Paloma.
Palomas, yes.
Yeah,
and I would say after my third one, a
3
Pomola.
Palomas drink.
It's a Pomola after the third one. You
the
can't,
fourth one's a Pomola.
You can't just show up like Doc Garrett and just get into any course just because you look like you could play.
No,
See?
he can, but
yeah, he could. Like Black Wolf Run. What's it called? Black.
Yeah,
that's a cool sounding. I'd like to welcome on the show an eminent golfer and a fine gentleman on his own, Dr. Jason Garrett. Morning, sir.
How's it going, guys? I'm actually going on a golf trip next week to New Mexico.
Of course you are.
I'm super jealous.
Of course, Dr. Garrett is on a golf trip headed that way toward New Mexico. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you, Doc. And I'm glad you're here on a day like this because it is the preeminent. There's lots of words you could call the draft, but it is in fact a drafting of athletic beings that need to be of sound mind and body. And as they go through the process to be drafted, talk about what these players have gone through physically, like the physicals that they've gone through. And a guy like you, what the role that guys like you play in the process of selecting the meat that will adorn the jersey that I will pay.
So usually you're looking for any gross imbalances. So anything from a reduction in range of motion for the position they're going to play. Like, for example, if they're a thrower, make sure that their shoulders are moving really well. Make sure their hip flexors are loosened up, that they can turn their hips, that it's not going to put any additional stress on their shoulder and their elbow. Look for do they have a history of chronic elbow pain because their shoulder had surgery early in their college career or high school career? Have they had previous knee surgeries? Have they had previous foot issues? Any of these things, obviously, as you get older, compound. So you want to make sure that, one, they're moving really well, you clear all their joints, and look for any restrictions or imbalances.
Doc, I have a very specific question in terms of player. Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. I'm certain you've probably played Bandon Dunes in your time based on your gallivanting across the world playing golf. So he's got the concern is a hamstring injury, and not necessarily at the moment, but that he might have existing injury concerns, and this might push him down. He's a candidate to be drafted by the Cowboys. I think a lot of people hear something like that and they say, oh, he's always got a hamstring, talking about different players. How can you rule that out? Or can you rule that out? Can you say, like, this is such a young human being, we don't have to worry about this? Like, is there any way you can come to a conclusion that you feel 100% on?
Well, if it's a chronic thing, like a recurrent issue where he's had multiple hamstring pulls, that's a yellow flag, maybe even a little bit of a red flag. If he's had one hamstring pull because he planted wrong one time or someone tackled him and it was kind of just a pure fluke, no concerns whatsoever, full recovery, just bad luck. But if it's a issue because his running style is off a little bit, his hip flexors are bad, he had ACL surgery, they took a hamstring tendon to replace the ACL, which they do frequently, and now he's got chronic hamstring issues, that's a bigger concern. And those guys are likely to be on the DL pretty consistently, throughout their career, whether it's the hamstring or a quad, or it becomes a back issue or a calf pull. These things tend to snowball. So anytime you're dealing with chronic muscle pulls from an imbalance, you really want to make sure that that's addressed before you spend a lot of money on a guy like that.
Dr. Jason Garrett here with us for his weekly house call with the Rossi. The draft tomorrow night, the process to get here is so in depth, because when you consider it, it is a multi-million dollar investment, and it does go from a neck up and from the neck down. And in your line of work, not only do you help people get back in the game, but you keep athletes in the game. I mean, that's one of the greatness. The first time I was really aware of Arasti was when you and Tony Parker were working together. And when you, let's say a football team was looking at a quarterback or a skill position guy, and they see a flaw in his mechanics, and as a person who works with the mechanics, the biomechanics of movement, do they come to people like you and say, we see a problem here, is that fixable? And if it is fixable, is there a ripple effect? And how deep does it go for the scouting for these guys?
Well, so there's two parts to that question. One, there's the throwing mechanics purely based on the athlete's ability, based on what they should be doing. That I can't really impact a whole lot. We can't. Now, if it's being impacted because they've got some scar tissue or some immobility or something holding them back that's preventing them from a better mechanics, we can help a ton with that. But if they have pretty much good range of motion and it's just a coaching thing, we'll leave that to the experts in that realm. And then anything that's holding them back from pain, dysfunction, where they're having to adapt or throw around an injury, we can make a huge impact, or people like me can make a huge impact on that, and then maintain it. So once you get them throwing well, they're probably going to have some additional soreness somewhere else, because now they're doing something they haven't really ever done before, with a different range of motion and velocity. And so then you maintain that. And all these athletes, one of the things you want to evaluate is what is their discipline for their own self, like their own body, right? Because a lot of these guys have tremendous talent. They're unbelievable athletes. They've gotten by on physical gifts. When they get to the draft level, most of those guys had to work pretty hard, but there still are some just gifted people that, like the Joel Embiid's out there, that don't really need to work really hard. So you want to make sure they understand that their body is their investment, and they've got to continually work on it and continually trust other people to help them move better.
Doc, if I think when it comes to this time of year, obviously we're all so concerned because, like Rob said, these are million dollar investments in terms of players, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, faces of the franchise. If there was one thing to care about, one medical thing, if you had to kind of break it down into layman's terms, what is the most important thing? If you could do an assessment on a player, you had 30 minutes to kind of pass or fail them for an NFL team, what would be the most important qualities for you to see or for you to be able to establish?
The core integrity around their spine. So if they have a great spinal mechanics, great spinal stability, that at least takes away one big stressor. If they've got any issues in their back, that affects everything. That's going to affect your knees, your shoulder, your feet. You're going to pull something, because if you don't have a good coordination between your core and your lower and upper extremity, you're going to have all kinds of issues, especially as you get older. So clear the back first and then go from there.
Knees, shoulders, and feet are all problems that both Joel Embiid and Kawhi Leonard have dealt with recently, and for most of their respective careers. Of those two that are both dealing with injuries, one coming back and one both kind of coming back, who do you trust to make it through here? Kawhi or Joel Embiid? Who's more likely to make it?
I would probably say Kawhi, even though I can't stand him. And I think he's a giant head case and probably has a terrible pain tolerance from what I knew about him when he was at the Spurs. But he's got a better overall physical capacity than Joel Embiid, because he's better conditioned than Joel was. He's a little bit better of maybe not a better athlete, but a better conditioned athlete. So I think his long-term upside is probably a little higher than Embiid's, unless Embiid learns from this and next year really takes it seriously and takes care of his health.
Watching him limp around, where do you think he is physically? I'm talking about Embiid, because by the end of the game, and it was getting worse as the game went on. What does that tell you? And what do you see by just his movement?
Well, the injury that he's got, it's one of those. So when you look at a regular person, you say, "Hey, I've got pain and dysfunction as you exercise." Yes, okay, don't worry about it. Just do mobility. Does it get worse as you exercise? That's a real injury. And so he's got real inflammation, a real injury. They probably got him on some pretty good anti-inflammatories to get him through the game, and it starts to wear off. You can only take so much of that stuff before it becomes detrimental to your health. And so throughout the course of a game, a guy that big playing on a hard surface, moving up and down with inflammation in his joints, it's only going to get worse if it's a real injury. So it tells me he's got a serious injury and he's going to need some time off in the offseason.
Where are you going to go play golf, Doc?
I think it's like the Valley of the Gods.
Oh, you're going to be, I played that course right there, Ruidoso.
Yeah, Ruidoso.
It's a beautiful course, man.
Up there.
I can't imagine that. I think it's number 3. I can't imagine how far you're going to hit the ball. Though that mountain air makes everybody feel real good, man. I suddenly hit like Scotty. It ain't going the direction I think it's going, but it's going a long way. He is Dr. Jason Garrett, and he'll go a long way to take care of you. That's what a Rosty does. Thanks for the house call, Doc. Travel safe, and we will talk to you next.
All right, thanks, guys.
Dr. Jason Garrett of Arasti. During these pre-draft, and we pray that nothing like this happens this year or any other year. But there's always the guy that, they're going through the pre-draft physical and they come up with, a heart ailment. That, the news that, not only can you not play, we've got serious health issues. And every couple of years, it's these pre-draft physicals that find these terrible things that, are fixed, thank goodness, but also preclude a professional career.
Yeah, last year it was the Georgia linebacker Nakobe Dean falling and falling and falling, and everybody kind of thought, oh man, and it's just such a I heard Drake May on Kevin Clark's podcast, and he was asked what kind of surprised him the most about the pre-draft process, and he was like, what these teams learn about you. It was like they know everything. He was like, they know the most like deeply intimate things about your life. And so like it's one thing for any human being to know that information, but it's another for it to be, broadcasted. And it's another for it to be weaponized as a reason to not, bring you in or whatever, not to draft you. And so when somebody's falling, it's like, man, what's going on with so-and-so? I don't get it. Must be the medicals. That's just a real big bummer for players when you see them go through that, because like we talked about with Dr. Garrett, I mean, it is $1 million thing, but this is like a dream, this weekend is dreams on the line for so many players and so many people. And that's, a really intense thing.
I'm glad you put it into that position. It's a dream for, us as fans, because we want talent acquired to our favorite team, and we want our favorite player to go and be successful. But for those that, have been behind the scenes and watched athletes work their way through this is the absolute completion of 12 years of intense 365 work. That this didn't come easy to any of these guys. There was more effort put in over the last 12 years than a lot of people have put in their lifetime. Every day, 2-3 times a day, whatever it took to get where they're getting tomorrow. We'll carry it live. It gets going at 7 from gavel to gavel, as we're apt to say, coming around the bend, 9 o'clock. The playoffs in the NBA are fun, aren't they? We'll talk about them.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Ahead of the field and throws it down with a right hand.
Your home for the NBA.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Let us explain. If you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct today and decide in the future you want to upgrade to a larger diamond, Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. For example, let's say you bought her a $5,000 diamond last year, but now she wants to upgrade to a $6,000 diamond. Diamonds Direct will give you $5,500 toward the new one. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Whether that first diamond was $3,000 or $30,000, you get 10% more. Who else does this? And unlike other stores who claim to offer diamond upgrades, at Diamonds Direct, there's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Come and discover real value and buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Okay, Kohl's has some epic deals right now that are perfect for early summer prep, and I need to talk about it. I just went and found my entire family tees under $8 and sandals under $30. Not to mention new patio essentials for 30% off, plus iron Kohl's Cash. So don't wait. If you want great brands and great prices for a great summer, you got to get to Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big, big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
Dave Ramsey here. The only water softener I recommend is a quality water softener from Connecticut. It really is the last water softener you'll ever own.
ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs continue. Last night was busy. The Timberwolves took a 2-0 lead over the Suns, 105-93. The Suns lost Grayson Allen to an ankle. The Pacers got even with Milwaukee on the road, no less, 125-108. That playoff series is beginning, as is the Clippers and Mavs, as the Mavs took the Clippers down in L.A. 96-93 behind Luka's dart.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Grab your scuba suits. It's a humid day out there. Welcome to the Morning Huddle. That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. The Morning Huddle is in process. Easy E is driving this for another hour. If you're just getting here, where you been? You're late. You can catch up on all things Morning Huddle at sasportstar.com. Therein, you can find this tab called the Audio Vault, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. That's our central day. You can listen to everything we've done live. Right there. Catch up on all things. We're glad you're here this morning. Go to our YouTube feed. We do appreciate you doing that because we take so much time looking good for you, decorating our set, doing the things that are appropriate for a radio show that is actually viewed like a TV show. With that in mind, take a good look on your screen. You'll see RJ Ochoa. Good morning, sir.
Top of the morning to you, Robert.
Are you a plum and ready?
I am A plume.
We're going to hear from Joe today. It is a hump day, and by Wednesday, man, it's you start looking forward to the next week. But the basketball calendar is entirely different. You used to in the normal football world, you work through the weekend and get ready for your Saturday, Sunday. It's everything in past and prep. With the NBA, it comes every night, which is glorious but exhausting. And these West Coast games, especially the likes of the Maverick Clipper game last night, you can't turn it off. You kind of got to watch it. And that was such thrilling television for me, the game late. Not because, one, it was a well-played game. The score represents the slugfest that it was, 96-93. But for me, it's kind of like watching Texas OU in that first weekend in October, where I'm rooting actively against both teams. So I don't know how to react when a good thing happens to either of them. So I'm mad and happy the entire game because I don't want good things to happen to either.
Hook 'em. I'm proud of that.
See, we all have lapses in judgment.
Okay, Boomer.
And we should be held accountable for all mistakes. Though I will stand by that statement back then. The Mavs showed some light, a little bit of life in a situation which I thought was a crumbling and terrible end. Luka, every now and then you need to show everybody how good you really are. And that tying three, the three that put the game even late, was as spectacular a basketball shot as anybody has ever made anywhere, anyhow.
Look, I know that he plays for a team that we're not super fond of,
but
Luka's one of those players that you just can't help but enjoy watching, right? Like, Kawhi, I can definitely, not enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's easy to not enjoy. But Luka, the way he moves, you know what I mean? The way he shoots, the way he just, again, it's a delight to enjoy. If you're a basketball fan, I think on some level, the primitive nature of who you are enjoys Luka playing basketball. It is kind of helpful to have a cause to, sort of rally behind him with, relative to the fact that he's going up against Kawhi, which is nice. Plus, the reason I like the playoffs, and I think the reason everybody likes the playoffs, is because you get to see Herculean people do Herculean things. Remember, was it the 07 Eastern Conference Finals when LeBron had, what was it, like 35 points in a row or whatever?
Oh yeah,
the Pistons.
On
like,
his
back, I'm talking about.
yeah.
It was like in the fourth quarter and overtime. That was sick. I'm not saying that Luka's LeBron, but like, you remember those things, like, even if they're not, if it's a play on a team that you don't care about. Kobe shot against the Suns, right? Like, there's all these moments that, like, last night wasn't quite there, but it was close, and that's exciting. Now, I do have a gripe about tonight's schedule, if you'll allow.
Okay, what is it?
How many games do you think there are tonight?
I'd assume there were 3.
There are 3.
Yeah.
So good job by you. First one, 6:00 on NBA TV.
Yes.
So
the
Fubo
NBA
accessible.
game, the NBA TV game's the early one tonight.
Right. Because you're right. Last night was Bucks Pacers, and
Right.
it was a little bit later. So it's Cavs in Orlando. So okay, cool. It's at 6 p.m. Then we've got 2 TNT games, so you can max it up. First, we've got the Knicks Sixers game, which will be really intense because of everything that happened and Nick Nurse and all that stuff. And then tonight, later tonight, we've got Denver in LA for Game 3, and LeBron and all them wanting to back officials. That at least Nick Nurse and the Sixers had a claim. You know what I mean? Miss me with all this LeBron. Jamal Murray just got you, but whatever. So my gripe. First game, Cavs Magic, is at 6.
Right.
Pretty normal, pretty conventional. If you got 3 games going on. Second game is at 6:30, and the third game's at 9. You're giving me no time to enjoy Cavs Magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we going 6 to 6:30 to 9? Why it should be like 6 to 7:30 to 9.
I think, well, the West Coast should have to tip at 4
that's tomorrow's
o'clock.
schedule. I'm
Yeah.
looking one day ahead.
I was looking.
So
like,
today is okay. So today we only have 2 games.
Yeah,
6 and
okay.
8:30. So that's right. Well, I still have a problem with tomorrow's schedule.
so tonight we have the game of interest is the Oklahoma City game, and I have a question for you. As I've looked through the West, and I don't think I'm alone here. Oklahoma City won it, but I don't think most people look at them as a contender. Do you? Won the West. The Thunder won the West. I mean, they're the number 1 overall seed.
They
But
didn't
as
win
we
the
sit,
West. That's a disingenuous way to put it.
well, I mean, they got the 1 seed.
Does anybody hang a banner for?
True that, but I mean
they're
they're a worthy team. But as just over a couple of games,
we have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
I think we've realized that Oklahoma City, when that despite the worst to first kind of thing, the play into the number 1 seed, that the game against New Orleans at home minus Zion, that the Pelicans had a chance to win with 2 minutes to go. Everybody went and looked at them and said, "Oh, okay, now I know who you are." You're almost there, but you're not there yet. Is that a safe assumption for this team?
Let me answer your question with a question. Would you take the Thunder over any of these teams? Or who are you taking, Thunder or T-Wolves?
I mean, in tonight's game or overall?
To win the series, to win a hypothetical series, Thunder or the T-Wolves?
The T-Wolves.
Thunder or the Nuggets?
Nuggets.
Thunder or the Clippers?
Now we have questions. So then that's about where we land.
It's a bit of a coin toss, right? Like,
yeah.
At the very least.
Well, because part of that is the Clippers aren't what I thought they were. At least they weren't last night.
Well, Thunder or the Mavericks?
Now we're talking a legitimate I don't know.
Okay, so but to the point, we have 2 teams that are easily better than the Thunder.
Right. And
we have 2 other teams that could probably push them. You know what I'm saying? At the very least in the whole series. So how did they win the West? I mean, like,
Karl
that's why
Anthony
I disagree
Towns got
with the
hurt.
claim that they won it. Like, enjoy your run here, Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy this little series. You know what I'm saying? Like beat up on the Pelicans because the reckoning is coming. You know, like your day, the second round will not be kind to you.
You know, I'd hope to kind of see a little bit of interest, a little bit of pepper from the vets that the Clippers were bringing in, because it does feel like a movie script. All of these guys at the end banding together to go get something, led by Ty Lue, who plays the Morgan Freeman role in all this. But last night just kind of exposed that it is a bunch of old guys. That even though they've got savvy and moxie and, Harden given a couple of days off will take anybody down, but that's the Toby Keith song.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, it just showed. I mean, first of all, 96, 93 in the modern NBA. How do you manage that? I mean, it was teams. We could apply defense to this, but no. Luka had as good a game as anybody could, and it was 32 on a rough night of shooting.
Luka, so we talked about teams. Where do you rank Luka in the Western Conference Superstars right now in the playoffs?
Well, he's certainly all NBA. He's one of the top 6 in all the league, but right now that's playing.
Rank the Western Conference playoff players.
Anthony Edwards, despite last night's performance, has still been the most spectacular to watch.
Sure.
He's one. Second behind that, Joker just continues to
that's
smoke.
Totally fair.
I'm going to give Shea
Luka.
Well, yeah, I'm going to. Oh, okay, yeah, Luka. Yeah, absolutely. I would say last night's performance was as good as we've seen. But the Siakam had a hell of a game last night, but that was kind of in the flow of the game. It was an absolute necessity for Luka to do what he did. There's no way that they win or even close without Luka. Siakam just happened to play in a position and be a playoff savvy guy to go get some. But I think a lot of guys in that position might have gotten some buckets. That Milwaukee was not. The second half was a disgrace. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
I think Milwaukee's probably got the biggest level of panic among the contenders right now. Because I mean, like some teams, let's be real. You're just here for a week and then it's Cancun time. But among the teams who are legitimately, believing that they can win a title this year, Milwaukee's got to have the highest level of panic. Now, maybe they don't because they believe Giannis is coming back, and maybe he will come back sooner rather than later. We thought maybe they could squeak through this series, and maybe they still can. It's it's 1-1. Let's not freak out. But I think Bucks fans got to wake up this morning going, don't feel great.
Let me tell you, Doc Rivers got his ass handed to him in the second half last night. Just put in a package and give it. That's 2 straight games that Carlisle has lured Dame Lillard into this trap that has allowed him to just, go get yours in the first and second. It ain't going to happen in the third. And it didn't again. And Doc can't coach his way out of a paper bag sometimes. And I know he is restricted with watching Giannis coach from the sidelines, which is just the worst thing to have to watch in the playoffs, to see him in a sweatsuit trying to tell Lopez where to be. We need to get you healthy, man. But to what, Doc? Whew.
Well, now it's time to coach.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Carlisle
Like,
coached a
No, but-
circle around him last night.
That's what I'm saying. Like game one, it was like, okay, Dame, go be Dame. You know what I mean? Go out, go ball out. You know what I mean? That was a lot easier to kind of handle. But now that it's time to actually coach up things a little bit, you know, Carlisle, look, I don't know who doesn't like Rick Carlisle, but like, that dude can coach. And so Doc is kind of getting a little bit exposed here. And I don't know that he anticipated that being a part of the process and coming back and signing up with Milwaukee specifically.
Well, I don't see very many happy returns as we get closer. I'm afraid it might end quickly. Then again, there's still a lot of time, and of all the teams that can turn on a dime, you put the freak back on the court and things get fixed real fast. Coming around the bend, as the playoff season perks up and we head toward the meat of the 7-game series, there's two that appear to be going to be going the long run. The late one was one of them. At what point do you ever feel comfortable in a 7-game series? I mean, 3 games to 1 always feels nice, doesn't it? But at what point do you start putting in the backups? We'll look as the series progresses and what NBA playoffs really mean. And go ahead and grab your cup, because the playoffs don't begin until the road team wins. We're talking hoops next. And we're going to hear from Jerry and Steven to close the show out. Don't go nowhere. This is the Morning Huddle here on 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star. I want to talk to you real quick about the Institute for Functional Health and Dr. Jacob Torres. You know, as we round into bathing suit season, everybody looks back on the previous winter and counts their sins and looks at their belt and goes, okay, I've got the 1st of May in my sights, and can I be bathing suit ready by the 1st of June? And anybody who promises that you can, don't believe them. Yeah, there's lots of ways to lose weight fast, but I'll tell you what, as fast as you drop it on these kind of plans, you're going to bring it right back. If it's time for you to lose weight, it is time to do it in a healthy way so you never put it back on, because sometimes putting it back on is worse than having it in the first place. So what you need to do to start this process is go to a medical professional that understands the situation that you're in and can put you on a program that is designed for you, that has the most possibility of your success. Now, I'm not going to kid you. It's not the easiest thing you're ever going to do, but it is something that can be done with the help of someone the likes of Dr. Torres. So what does he do? He brings you in and he'll explain to you that losing weight is not a miracle proposition. Take in fewer calories, burn more than you take in, you're going to lose weight. But there are some things that you need to know, like the conditions you're dealing with. There might be an underlying problem that won't allow your body to do what it needs to do. You need to address that before you can lose weight. That's why you go to a medical professional, much like Dr. Torres. Then they're going to put a program together that's based in your life's history, your genetics, and everything that goes into it to help you get on a plan. They're going to supply you with all that you require to lose the weight, and that includes the coaching and everything that goes with it. 8 years later, I'm still a patient. I am still going because it works, and it's the best thing I've ever done. I want that for you. Write this number down, 210-468-1891. The website is iffhealth.com. Trust me, it's the best thing I've ever done for myself. Call Dr. Torres today. Let him explain to you why he's been so successful with so many, and I'm sure you'll jump on a plan and will be thanking me later.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, I'm excited. We're only a day away from the first round of the NFL draft, and what are the Cowboys going to do? I sincerely do not know.
More from Jerry and Steven from their press conference yesterday, and a former Cowboys coach, the current head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. Wade Phillips joins us at 4:35. The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long. It's not hard. It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside?
Mm.
Tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Calling all children ages 8 to 16. HEB and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing a youth football clinic to you on May 4th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at East Central High School in San Antonio. You can do skills and drills just like the pros. Register for your chance to participate at dallascowboys.com/HEB. Camp is limited to 150 athletes per session, so sign up today. Purchase not required to register. Parents must be 18 years of age or older and a Texas resident. The promotion ends April 25th. For official rules and important details, visit dallascowboys.com/HEB.
Your home for the Dallas Cowboys is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back to Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. RJ and Rob with you. NBA playoffs in full swing got kicked off this weekend. It was actually a drop in viewership this year over last, really 9%. An average of 3.77 million viewers across all the platforms, ABC, ESPN, and TNT, and True TV, depending, compared to 4.15 million last year, which was the most watched opening weekend since 2011. So you expect a little bit of a decline when you see the middle peg that direction. I do think it's going to pick up. The matchups have been, compelling in that there is a growing true rivalry between like the Lakers and the Nuggets. But there's also the foregone conclusion that the money franchise in the West, the Lakers, there's not a lot of expectation. They just can't beat the Nuggets. So I don't think a lot of people reached out. And I think the bell cow franchises have to pull their viewers to bring the other ones up, because Milwaukee, there's just not a lot of Milwaukee fans no matter what. They're just not going to represent. But there's lots of Boston fans. They got to show up. There's lots of Lakers fans. They got to show up. And if they don't, those numbers aren't going to reflect.
That's true. I also think there's a lot going on. You know what I mean?
There is. Yeah.
It's a tough time of year. The first round there's so much happening. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks now, and I know that we're starting to get, a little bit into it. The playoffs have officially started because the road team won a game.
Great.
But you got the NHL playoffs. You got standard television if you have a TV show you want to watch. People are getting ready for the NFL draft. We're coming off of the Masters and the Chevron. I mean, you got life to live. You got movies. You got recorded things you're behind on. It's tough, man. You know what I mean? It's tough. There's Premier League games on in the middle of the week. I mean, there's a lot happening here. We can only absorb so much as a society. Plus, I mean, are you really passionate about a Giannis-less Bucks-Pacers series? You know what I mean? Are you really passionate about a Thunder-Pelicans series? Even the Nuggets-Lakers series, which is, was awesome on Monday night, even that on paper is kind of like, meh.
Well, think about what time that game tips in New York.
That's true, too.
I mean, not that the NBA doesn't deal with that every year, but when your preeminent franchise is tipping off well past most of your primary core audience, young core audience viewing hours, you're going to suffer a little bit. And like I said, last year, as the numbers peaked, you don't really expect it to continue with that trend because there's really not a lot new. Now, let me tell you this. If next year we do have a Wemby in the playoffs and we continue with these young stars improving, and you look at what Anthony Edwards is doing, if he continues to blow up the way that he has, and Embiid goes in there fully healthy, I do expect a little bit more of a bump. But I don't think the NBA is upset at all, considering where they started, especially considering that we talked a little bit about this yesterday, the collective bargaining agreement or the TV rights deal, for the NBA is coming to ahead. And we were talking about potential suitors. I thought Apple TV would be in line for it, but they announced yesterday they had signed they're going to promote a brand new kind of tournament, a FIFA World Cup that is not for countries, but for clubs. Club World Cup that Apple will have, not exclusive, but pretty much primary broadcast rights for up in the coming future. Not something that's really on the top of mind now, but when it comes, this is going to be a big deal.
I love soccer. And so I also love when things are easy. And Apple's format, Apple TV. So I'm a T-Mobile customer. This is not an ad, just my personal cell phone carrier. And every Tuesday they give things away in their T-Mobile app. And last year at one point, MLS season pass for the year was free. And so you got to have a free season because the MLS is on Apple TV exclusively. Right. And so, you get it for free. You check it out, whatever. And dude, it is so smooth. You can be on your phone, your iPad, your computer, the actual Apple TV on a TV. It is so easy and so smooth. And so whatever this, club tournament is going to be, will likely be that simple and that functional. I like the broadcast for Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV. Similarly smooth, similarly functional. And if the NBA can get involved, if anyone has the pockets to run with all this stuff, right, to absorb more and more and more and more, who do you think wins a bidding war, Rob? Apple or Max? You know what I mean? Like Apple or Hulu? Like this isn't a close contest. So if Apple can absorb everything, we're in a different ballgame.
The playoffs continue, and we got some separation. It feels like the Phoenix Suns are kind of done for. Grayson Allen limping off. Just not a lot of there. They just haven't been able to keep up. As bad as Phoenix has looked, I'm not sure. I don't know if Minnesota's comfortable. At what point do you go, all right, 3-0? Is that point where you go, all right, there's just.
How confident are you when you're up 2-0 in a series?
Pretty damn
1 to 10
confident.
for me.
It depends on how I won. I'll be honest with you. But if it's a couple of home games and it was squeakers, I'm actually more confident with those than I am when I blow a team out twice. That's when you start losing confidence, especially that second blowout, because then that's the thing about the NBA playoffs that is so unique. And baseball can kind of do it, but not to the extent that basketball can. You can play possum. You can go out and play a game, and that style or whatever that game was meant not to sacrifice a win. I'll never say that, but to convince a team that what they want to do, they can, and you can spring a trap on them. And it happens so often after a team wins or loses on the road and loses badly on the road, but comes home, and that last half, They let that other team think, oh, you guys are so much better than us, and there's no way we can scheme our way out of this. And then you show up back home and you punch them in the face. And then it's true. I mean, the series hasn't begun yet until both teams have played at home and somebody wins on the road. So it's not over by any stretch, but I don't look of the teams that I think are in real problems. Miami and Phoenix come to mind. It just looks like just not going to be, and Orlando too. But Orlando, I put in a different boat. Orlando didn't expect to win. They're just here for the experience. They're just here for the party. What's it called? Auditing. They're auditing the class. Don't grade us. We just want to see what it's like. We expect to be back here next year, better prepared. We'll buy the book next year.
So, by this logic, which team that's down are you most willing to believe could mount a
Well, the Lakers.
Just
because it's LeBron.
Well, yeah, but that's
you're right. I don't give them a prayer, to be honest with you, but of the few prayers that I would offer right now, I think the Mavericks Clippers are going to go 7. And I'm thinking New Orleans and Oklahoma City might go 7. Of the other ones, I think the other ones will be done for the most part. And no more than 6, probably 5 for all the rest of them.
I think that Philadelphia is going to win both in Philly.
I do too.
I'm ready to say that that's actually the best series.
And I think they're going to be playing 5-on-7 the next time they play.
Well, and that's
the Knicks.
The Lakers, I don't put any stock. I understand it's LeBron thing.
Yeah.
That's completely fair. But it was a 10 out of 10 game for the Lakers, right? Like everything went right, and it wasn't like even the best flex performance ever for the Nuggets, and the Nuggets still won.
But
you know I'm saying?
No, you're right.
Got to be demoralizing that you played your A game, and that they didn't, and that they still won. It's hard to overcome.
And one of the things, RJ, I really didn't touch on yesterday was Anthony Davis upset that he wasn't a Defensive Player of the Year finalist. That alone was enough just to go, all right, you guys, come on, really? Are you that deluded? Are you that far out of reality, Anthony Davis? Really? That you're upset?
Oh, don't hurt me. You can't hit me. I'm trying to take a shot.
Come on. You're legit upset that you're not a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year, Anthony. Yeah, you got 70 games. I'm proud of you, bruh. You played a lot of basketball. Not a lot when it mattered, but you played a lot of basketball. And you were up. We left that just kind of hanging as ripe fruit. Yeah, I give him a chance in hell, a snowball's chance.
Wow.
As we can only pray. A snowball's chance. Is that the Cowboys' odds for success next year? After you hear the ownership trio, the bumbling Abbott and Costello tandem that we saw, the daddy and son speaking to us, we're going to listen to a lot of what they had to say. It's a lot of gobbledygook, but it just kind of further reinforces where most Cowboy fans have arrived and where RJ Ochoa has been, this island of destitute misery. We're talking Cowboys next as the draft is under 35 hours away. Hold on, we're talking about it. This is 94.1, and you are on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
What's he talking about here? He's talking about Asia.
It wasn't me that started that old crazy Asian war.
I mean, isn't that racist?
No, I think it was a crazy Asian war, was it not? It wasn't.
It wasn't Oriental.
What would make it Oriental?
If they fried it with bell pepper and pineapple and added sweet and sour sauce, that would make it Oriental.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number N16004. DACLA 0007434.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,000 off select laundry appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. And with convenient shopping in-store and online, you can get new appliances with smart, intuitive features any way you want. Like a new LG wash combo all-in-one that can run a full load in under 2 hours. Right now, get $1,000 off select laundry appliances with Spring Black Friday savings in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Kinetico water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Kinetico water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Kinetico water softener. Call the team at Kinetico at 656-PURE or online at KineticoSA.com. That's 656-PURE or KineticoSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
94.1 FM. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
Let's get wild. Hey, huddle up. Don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. This is the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. RJ with us. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered. I just, we went to break and I did a break thing and was headed by the our break room. And there was a sticky note on the break room counter right next to the microwave with an arrow pointing to the wrapper of my breakfast that I left earlier today. And it's not my first transgression. I used to be, I rotate. I went from Pop-Tarts to the sausage on a stick wrapped with a pancake. Delicious, by the way. And I used to get in trouble from the crumbs that I would leave from the Pop-Tarts, and it's transitioned from the toaster to my napkin or plate. Now I'm in trouble again, and I'm getting looks in my studio as people are passing by staring at me. Locker room etiquette. Break room etiquette broken. Now tomorrow I'm going to bring a big platter of salmon. I'm going to put it in the microwave and just like set it and leave.
I don't want to rub this in or anything, but this kind of sounds like it's completely and totally your fault.
Oh, it's all my fault. I'm accepting responsibility. I'm not saying it wasn't my fault, but you don't want to poke the bear. One day it's just a microwave wrapper. Tomorrow it's a half a pound of salmon on a microwave for 10 minutes. You got a problem. I'll make it a problem. You could have just picked it up and thrown it away and said, hey, Rob, you should have. And I would have been ashamed and embarrassed and glad that you kept it on the down low. But no, I walk by and my name on a bright green highlighter pad, Rob, with an arrow toward a wrapper that could have easily just been grabbed and thrown away. And they go, what did you do? And I said, obviously, I put it in the microwave and had to go take care of business, probably saving the radio station or a baby's life, one or the other, and just didn't get back in time to throw away a wrapper that you could have just grabbed and thrown away. I'm not saying that, though I thought it. But you got a problem with this, wait till tomorrow.
So you have found that the best way to handle this is by being passive aggressive.
Oh, yeah, I'm not only passive aggressive, I'm petty.
Okay.
So you combine that into the myopic brain of a radio host. It's going to get ugly, much as I am.
Respect.
And that is an easy transition to the stinky fish microwave-laden cod that was the press conference yesterday. In the annals of Dallas Cowboys press conferences, in the history of Jerry, I don't recall, other than when he talked about putting the Cowboy cheerleaders in tube tops, way back when, a more aggravated and violently angry press corps. And it got worse as it went on. Is that a fair statement?
I think it got worse because I agree. It's fair, first of all. But I think the reason for that is because they came out wanting to fight. You know what I mean? They came out and not only did they come out wanting to fight, but they came out thinking we have something to stand on here. You know, like, you know what I mean? They're like, you think we're stupid? Watch us out stupid ourselves. And that's really what this whole thing was. I mean, it was truly an exercise of, I bet you think that I can't say something dumber with my next breath. Well, watch me, baby. I'm going to inhale and surprise you. Nothing that was said was competent. Nothing that was said was real. Nothing that was said was factual. It was a whole bunch of flim flam, jibber jabber, floobity floob, and just wasted time. And quite frankly, carbon dioxide. That's all that happened on Tuesday, was an exercise in futility.
So as we rail against the Cowboy world from asunder and within, I mean, everybody's a little upset with the Cowboys. You got the sense, at least I did, that hadn't heard from Jerry and Steven in a minute. They might have been out on the Eugenia, out on the high seas, or doing whatever billionaires do in the off season. It felt like I thought that they showed up and said, oh man, people are mad. Why are they mad? I thought that was the sense, but I'm wrong. They've been paying really close attention, and they think they're the smartest guys in the room. And, whenever you think you're the smartest guy in the room, change rooms. You're not.
Right. Well, what upsets me is you're right. They have very clearly been paying attention.
Yeah.
Maybe pay attention to other crap. You know what I'm saying? This is not what you should be paying attention to. What you should be paying attention to is the market, is your books, your contract extensions. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love that expression. If you're the smartest person in the room, then find another room. I agree with you completely, entirely, just in a philosophical sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's why we're both alone in our rooms.
For anyone who was still just like, K standing the Kool-Aid here, right? Like, I mean, just like chug. You can't get enough of the Joneses. You really believe this? I would like you, Rob, to tell me a time, if you can, in life, where everyone around you, in your primary circle, in your secondary circle, your tertiary circle, people who you barely even interacted with, where everyone said, dude, I don't know if that's a great idea. That's probably not the wisest way to go about it. Where nothing but overwhelming disagreement was in your face and you did what you felt inclined to do anyway, and you were correct. Is there a single moment in time that
No,
you can, even
not
something
once.
trivial?
Now, there's always a modicum of success that you hang your hat on, like, well, I showed you this. But for the most part, you lost. Everybody knew you were going to lose. It might not have been as bad as they thought it was, but at the end of the day, they were right, you were wrong, and you're going to hold on to this one little modicum on the side of success and say, well, look what you said no, and look what I did. When really you didn't do anything. And I think that's where Jerry's headed.
Well, and so every other NFL team. So like literally every single other NFL team besides them, every professional analyst, whether former player, whether Ivy League educated, whether whatever the case may be, anybody who is paid to assess and analyze professional football for a living, every single, I would say every single, a lot of fans, an overwhelming majority of the fans, we're talking scores of people, millions and millions and millions of people who are saying, dude, the way you're going about this is not the best way. And they sat up there and said, you think that you know better than us? Well, watch us talk.
Hold my beer.
What a just, I mean, it's not even arrogance at this point. Like we're so far past arrogance. It's just delusion. You know what I'm saying? Like it's only delusion. Arrogance requires some level of thought in it. You know what I'm saying? Like arrogance requires that you have some sort of plan. They don't have a plan. They're just sitting there floating and chilling and whatever. And yesterday they had to go and talk in front of some microphones and everybody listened and everybody's making fun of them. And I don't even think that they care that people are making fun of them. They're just like, whatever, you know, checks will cash tomorrow anyway. We'll be fine.
The entirety of yesterday, I believe, was summed up with Jane Slater of the NFL Network.
Queen.
Stood up for the common man. She was the fan representative to the social committee. She stood up front and went at Jerry like everybody who's been following this wants to. I want you to listen to this because hats off to the people's champ, Jane Slater, as she came after Jerry.
Jane Slater, NFL Network. Trust me, I get budgeting. I've been working on it over the years. But my job is to explain to fans, friends, and family who don't understand when you've got these 3 free agents, particularly Dak. We've seen in the past, I don't think us covering this team, we're surprised that a deal hasn't gotten done. And typically they don't get done until training camp. But why not work on those deals earlier so that you have the flexibility to go get those veterans that have led to success in the last 2 postseasons?
Your problem is that your
problem. Did you just say you people?
Well, I'm answering your question, but you don't have many problems. I really, you're excellent. But the point is that you may be working on it and not moving anything but your eyebrows. Who in the world would think that we're not working on it? I work on it. It pops open at 2 a.m. sometimes. What your actually question is why don't you have something done and negotiated and put in the drawer? Well, we'd like to see some more leaves fall. We'd like to see some more action. It's called option. A lot of guys need to hand it off. First guy through the line. Another one will keep it another step, decide whether to pitch it or not. He'll decide whether to turn upfield with it, and then he's still got a pitch left. So it's called option quarterback. That's working the problem. I've spent my life.
All right, let's stop it right here. All right, Jerry. All right. You're okay. So you're headed toward the sidelines, and I'm gonna make a decision. Trust me, I'm an option quarterback, and I haven't reached the sideline yet. Okay.
You know, Jane's question was really fair and really well reasoned and really well articulated. I mean, again, the fact that everyone else does this is fair. And the fact that Jerry couldn't actually answer it and that it was just a bunch of, attempted charm is enough proof, I think. And if you still cannot see through this facade, man, I really envy how beautifully you seem to live your life.
With that in mind, this further down the conversation, I don't know how to define this as a circular firing squad. I don't know the reasoning that goes into what you're about to hear from the owner and his son regarding the market and how it works and how you go listen to this.
And you don't worry about those numbers going up as a result of other teams paying some of these players at their positions?
I worry about, if you're asking me, do I worry about things going up? Not worry, but I probably have as good a feel as anybody living on this earth what the cap is going to be 3 years from now and 4 years from now, 5 years from now. I really do. We've got exceptional insight into where the cap is going to be, more so than a lot of people.
Jane, I can assure you, if we felt like we could get a number that was a good number, because unfortunately these, as we all know, representatives talk to each other. You don't think the representatives of Jefferson and CD and Chase aren't talking, and you don't think they got their eye on something really big? Please. And they're not ready to come in here. Same thing with Micah.
All right, enough.
Same thing
All
with
right,
Dak.
enough. All right. So you're telling me that, first of all, Jerry's involved with the salary cap. He knows how much money we're all going to have 3 years more than anybody else in the world. That's the owner. And then the son chimes in and goes, yeah. And on top of that, you don't think we've made lowball offers? You don't think I have offered CD Lamb far less money than anybody else has? Of course I have. And he keeps saying no. Well, yes.
So, I mean, this is my favorite part of the presser. Because, so that Steven jumped in and of itself exemplifies this. Dad, let me handle this. I got this.
I hope so, son.
He really thought, I'm about to come in and do work. All right? Like, I'm about to come and save this. All right. These Neanderthals around here, they're about to hear me speak. I'm about to preach the good word. All right. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, first of all, that he really believes all of this. But
they're talking, and I keep making offers, and they talk to each other. They say that's not enough.
Your line is, your assessment is such, like, it's the most important thing, that he's like, Jane, CD won't take the incredibly low offer that we're giving him. I mean, what do you expect me to do? All right, he's talking to Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson's letting him know that he can get more, and I don't like that, and so I want CD to take less. And Justin Jefferson and his corrupt agent, who CD's agent is talking to, their whole goal here is to get as much money as possible, and that doesn't sit well with me. All right, I want to give him as least amount as possible. So you clearly don't understand the way the game works around here.
Please.
Golly, dude, that he thought this was worth interrupting to share.
Let me, Daddy,
amazing.
Daddy Jerry. Let me step in here for just a minute. I can personally attest that I have offered CD Lamb at least 3 different contracts over the last 3 years.
Buy into us.
And he hasn't accepted one of them. Now, the reason being that I'm not even close, and it keeps going up. Don't you think I know it's going up?
See, and this is the dumbest thing that the Homer fans have hung their hats on. Is people are like, it takes 2 to tango. It takes 2. CD's not taking the offer. You know what, dude? You're so right.
Okay.
How dare CD refute the significantly below market rate offer the Cowboys have made?
So as this confederacy of dunces offered us this press conference, poor Mike McCarthy was sitting up there too. And I don't think we should end the show without hearing something, at least something, from the head coach in charge of this squad. And who, by the way, I want to, and this I'm sure is purely circumstantial. It was announced late last night, early this morning, that Mike McCarthy now has a new agent. I don't know how this plays into what went on yesterday, and it might not have anything to do with it. But the timing I do find rather interesting as we go. He has new representation after that fiasco yesterday. I guess there is some good stuff going on down around the Star. His cup runneth over when it comes to the quarterbacks.
I mean, what?
I mean, he had to weigh into something, so he's at least happy with his quarterback room.
I'll just say you mentioned we don't, have those mid-round picks, a fourth-round pick, and that's probably where we would have been looking for a quarterback. And
That's
when we made the trade for Lance, these quarterbacks go early. When there's a need for them, they go earlier than you think they should. And when we were able to use a fourth-round pick, which we would have been looking
let's
at
drop
depth.
this. I don't.
Okay,
I don't take anything that he had. This was so silly. This was as bad
though.
as any of it, though.
I just had an article that went out like 10 minutes
It
ago.
hit my email just now.
At Blogging the Boys. So I wasn't here yesterday, but Zach Wilson was traded recently, and he went for a 6th-round pick, and actually also fetched a 7th-round pick. So he went for technically less than a 6th-round pick, like in terms of like on
it's 6.5-round pick.
So there were 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round of the 2021 NFL draft. 4 of them, 3 years later, are on new teams. By the way, for all of you people who want Dak gone that think it's super easy to find one of these dudes, like remember that it's been 3 years and 4 of the 5 first-round quarterbacks are now on new teams. And the only one who's not is Trevor Lawrence, who we're all kind of like,
well, Jacksonville has 2 of them.
That's what I'm saying. But the Jaguars really need to extend Trevor Lawrence. So, okay, but that's a whole different point. That being said, of the 4 who have been moved, we're talking now about Zach Wilson, obviously. We're talking about Mac Jones, who you mentioned, who's going to someday have a car dealership in Jacksonville, I would imagine. And Justin Fields, goodness gracious. He is 3. They are 3 of the 4 who have been dealt. The other one was Trey Lance. Trey was the first domino to fall. The other 3, Rob, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, now Zach Wilson, all went for what was effectively a 6th-round pick.
What did we pay? What did the Cowboys pay?
The Cowboys, for their failed 2021 first-round draft pick quarterback, paid a 4th round.
There we go.
I mean, they are always the one in the worst way. Like they are always the one. My cousin Amanda, when she was a little girl, she would run around and you would hear just like some commotion. You know what I mean? Right. Like in another room. And my Aunt Norma would go, Amanda! And my cousin would always go, I'm okay, I'm all right, I didn't break anything. You know what I mean? But it was always like, okay, so what did Amanda break this time? The Cowboys are Amanda here. Like, what? Just be normal. Just be
normal.
Just be normal. Just please just stop being everything about the way that you are, because everything about the way that you are makes me not like this place. I hate it here. I hate it here, Rob.
Well, it's only going to get worse. There's nothing like a good draft that won't prolong the misery. We'll have it live tomorrow night. What are the Cowboys going to do? We'll hear it all day long. Oh, by the way, Wade Phillips of your San Antonio Brahmas will be with the Blitz Boys today just after 4 o'clock. We're the beginning of the sporting day. They're going to close it down, be here at 2. But next, here comes Greeny and roams on a vine. RJ, send us out. That's it.
Please.
We will see you again tomorrow. Ripcord this baby.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck.